facial hair and you're white, you know, you've
That
got
is true.
the privilege coming off of you guys. It's very
Bald privilege.
bald privilege.
What I actually should have done is instead of using this picture of Tommy, I should have just thrown up a picture of like Stanley Tucci or something like that.
It should change.
Yeah. All right, that's a lot of pressure. I don't have the graphic design skill to actually do that. But if you had gotten somebody with actual talent, then it could work. All right. I'm not going to ask how you guys are because, quite frankly, I don't care. But
Yeah, who cares?
let's see. It's not like you're going to say, like, I'm shitty today.
I'm terrible.
Yeah. God awful. I don't want to hear your problems anyway.
Yeah.
So
This isn't vent your problems. It's ask me anything.
yeah, it's just a promo thing. Oh my God. Chat is moving so quickly that it's almost impossible to get
Pick
anything
a
out
good
of
one.
it.
Pick
Okay.
a good one.
I'm gonna try to pick a good one. Okay, here's an interesting one, and it kind of segues into some Indie Game the Movie stuff. But obviously, Indie Game the Movie, kind of this surprise phenomenon. Super Sheep 3000 in chat asks if people recognize you on the street since its release, and if so, how goddamn weird is that?
It happens all the time. Like, well, sometimes, and I know this has happened to Ed too, but you get the people like across from the Best Buy just staring at you, and yeah, and I had once in a Best Buy, this guy followed me around the Best Buy, and right as I was about to leave, he's like, "Hey, can I shake your hand?" And my mom was there. I was at the Best Buy with my family, and Mom, after we got out, because I didn't notice him, Mom's like, he was following you around the entire store. But yeah, it happens. It happens quite often, and it's strange. I mean, it's very flattering, but it's still not really used to it.
It's super alien, and I can't help but Tommy and I talk about this a lot. I always put my foot in my mouth and say something weird, because like I don't know how to respond to somebody saying, "Hey, I just saw you in a movie," and then I like, what's the correct response to that? Like, do you say like, "Yep," or do you say like, "Oh, cool," or what? I think I said, I don't even know what I said. I said something like, "Oh, that's weird," and the guy like. The guy like looked at me like all fucking weird, and like he was half drunk also, and then he just like was really pissed off at me and just kept glaring at me from across the room. But no, I've had really awkward situations like the one that Tommy described, where people are kind of like following you through a store because they don't know how to ask you something, or they think they want to say something or something. And I had this guy in San Francisco follow me from store to store, pushing a stroller and just glaring at me like creepily from across the aisle. Never spoke to me though. But
Will you sign my baby?
But he,
Yeah.
and I was like, maybe he's just a weirdo. I just assume, they're just weird. But Danielle's the one who like, she doesn't look exactly how she looked in the movie at all. So she can kind of like glide behind them and listen to their conversation. And she was like, oh yeah, he was talking to his wife about the movie. And, but yeah, but usually you get this, like, you walk by somebody and they look at you really strange. And then you hear, video game, because that's your name. So that's the test to see if you're going to turn around and look back at them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's totally weird, but it's it's cool, I guess.
Yeah. As far as like what you say to people, I always default to, oh, that's cool, and then usually it'll be like, yeah, I'm making blah blah blah, and I always default to, well, I'm glad the movie could inspire you. Like it's the most like handout cookie cutter response. I have no idea what else to say. Like, yeah, it's weird.
Well,
It's hard when somebody says like, I really like the movie, because we had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, we're not going to take, yeah, thanks. I'm a really good actor.
It did. We won at Sundance. No, we didn't. James and Lee Sand did.
If somebody says, hey, I really like Super Meat Boy or whatever, that's like an easy one to be like, oh, thanks. But if someone's like, man, that movie was awesome, and it's like, what do I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm awesome.
We worked hard on it.
There were people in high school that had randomly messaged me and thought that I had made a movie about myself. That was a good one.
That's the best one right there.
You made a movie about yourself? That's what somebody says. Somebody messaged me like from school randomly, like, you made a movie about yourself? What? But then it's like, well, maybe they think that I'm like this fucking creative wizard that oh yeah, man, I got skills. I make games and make movies about myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I noticed like, oh, I shouldn't say I noticed, but I'm imagining that you probably get recognized more just by virtue of the fact that your faces are in the movie for being in the movie than you do for actually your games, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's the face. I had somebody come up to me and say, "You made Minecraft, right?"
I've had the same thing happen to me.
Yeah, like, no. Like, what did you make? Super Meat Boy. That's right. It's like, how the whole movie's about Super Meat Boy. How did you think it was Minecraft? But yeah, I've had that happen quite a few times. So yeah, it's definitely facial recognition more so than game recognition.
I've been recognized very few times, like outside of convention settings, which is normal. But I always, when I was a kid, I thought that it would be like, you know, every famous person was George Clooney, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I love your movie," and they'd be like, "Hey, kid, like, yeah, like here's $100 or something like that." But I can totally relate to feeling like super awkward because someone comes up and is like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, I love your stuff," and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is my worst nightmare."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to talk to strangers yet, but
yeah, I haven't learned the skill.
yeah, cool. There's so many questions in chat about this, and I know it's a facetious question, but hopefully this will give you guys some good fuel here. How's production on the Super Meat Boy movie going, Ed? Says Pixel Podium. Have you heard back from the producer that you guys were publicly in contact with? Did you ever get Cameron Diaz for the role of Bandage Girl?
All right, people. So in order to get that reference, for all the people in the dark, look up Art Backwards' Car on YouTube, and you can see that a while back we got contacted by a producer in Hollywood, and I used producer very loosely.
Yeah, used producer extremely loose.
And it was essentially kind of like this guy who was trying to scam us into acquiring the rights to Super Meat Boy to do some sort of adaptation, but we had to fund it.
Yeah.
And
we had to fund it and pay him for it, and then give him 50% of the back end or something. Like,
yeah.
It was really stupid.
And we had a call with them first because Tommy and I like to waste time entertaining ourselves. And then it was, you know, we played our dumb characters. I play a very stupid Edmund McMillan. It's
it's a very stupid. It's very.
I'm always confused. It's awful. And then we decided that we were going to record it. We posted some of the videos of the conversations, and of course they're edited out, so you don't know who the other people are. But just Google that. There's no way we're going to be able to explain how entertaining it actually was.
But yeah, it kind of the whole thing kind of ended with he sent us a contract, and he gave us the Tobias and Joe Bluth. This offer comes off the table at midnight tonight. And so, of course, we went back and forth. Is that midnight San Francisco time, or is that midnight LA time? Like, stuff like that. And then finally what I did is I edited the contract with colored pencil and highlighter, and then signed it with his name, because obviously he's the one doing all of it. So I signed it with his name and taped it to my chest and took a picture of myself in the mirror saying that that's what our lawyer said we had to do to make sure that the contract was authentic. And then we never heard back from him. Really rude.
I have the image, but their names are all over it, so I can't really post it.
Yeah.
It was good.
I wonder if you maybe caused like an existential crisis for that guy. Like someone, I imagine somebody had to link it to him. Like he has to know somebody who knows somebody.
Honestly,
like...
I very much doubt that, because
really?
So ridiculously out of the loop with everything.
He didn't know what Minecraft was.
He didn't know what Minecraft was. We were telling him we made up stuff about Meat Boy and about all this stuff, and he just went along with it.
Yeah, he just agreed. Like, oh yeah, I remember that part, and oh,
yeah,
okay.
You remember Christian's stance at the end of the movie, and he's like, yeah, that guy was weird. It's like, this doesn't exist. Like, he's so out of the loop, and yeah, this producer has been an extra in some things, and that's it.
Art Backwards' Car.
Art Backwards' Car.
Yeah, but don't look it up right now because it's like an hour and a half long. And...
yeah.
So inevitably, a lot of people are asking some questions about Mugenics. So I know you guys had some stuff that you wanted to answer or at least clear up about Mugenics. So plenty of the common questions like, how's progress going? When is it coming out? Why don't you take a moment to address those?
Yeah, first I think we'll say it's coming out when it's done, of course. What people don't realize is that we've been working on a few projects alongside Mugenics. We assumed that Mugenics would be finished sooner than later. Turns out it's like the biggest project that was ever created.
Yeah, it's bigger than Destiny.
And so we've actually about a month ago we put it on pause so we could focus on some of the other projects that we were working on a bit more, so we could try to get something out sooner than later, because it looks like Mugenics will be like our biggest project. It'll be like our Fez, where I'll kill Tommy and I'll kill myself.
Yeah, we'll kill each other and the game will come out somehow.
That kind of sounds pretty awesome.
We'll put it in the release queue and then we'll kill each other.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get so much buzz.
It's going to be awesome. It'll be on CNN.
Yeah, your estates are going to make a fortune.
Yeah.
Cool. So hopefully that, quells some of the Mugenics fervor in chat, because I know that
I'm sure it's not what people want to hear, but it is the reality of it. It is, this is giant, and it is. We've been working on it for a while now, and we have been working on other things, and in order for us not to go insane, we need to do something a little smaller scale first, and then get back to the big giant thing later.
Yeah, we went a bit overboard.
Yeah, might have bitten off a little too much.
But yeah, no, it's still something that we are, of course, going to finish. Just we need a little time. We need a little break, and we need to work on some other stuff, because the other stuff is also pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And presumably you'll be talking about that later.
Yes.
Not later today, but
yeah.
That's another thing that we learned. One of the big mistakes that I think we made with Mugenics was starting to talk about it a little too early. But we both assumed it would be done within a year. We believed that, but the thing is like, one of the things that happens when you're working on something for a year, and maybe some of this was kind of the pressure of coming out of like, this is the next Team Meat game, right after Super Meat Boy and whatever else. We might be feeling some of those pressures, but once you work on a game for 6 months, you're looking at it and you're like, we better make this worth 6 months. And then once it's been on for a year, it's like, we better make this worth a year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those situations where you keep doubling down, and like, it kept getting bigger and bigger. And right now it's pretty freaking huge. So
it's massive. Yeah. But, you'll play it one day. I just don't know what day that is.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
So a question that's kind of maybe a little bit more relevant to the movie. Obviously, in the movie, it's a little bit the drama's played up, and you would know more than I do how much of it is real and how much of it is maybe embellished. But Pendlebird asked for some perspective on what the most enjoyable part of the development of Super Meat Boy was, as opposed to the traumatic stuff or really heart-wrenching stuff that shows up on screen.
Tom, I've talked about this a lot recently, because we have such fond memories of working on Super Meat Boy. Like, the stuff that's captured in the movie that's stressful is quite literally the last 2 months of development. That's all you see. And we were working on it for over a year and a half. And for more than a year, it was a blast.
Yeah, it really was, and it felt very important, and it felt new and adventurous and all that stuff. The movie, all of the drama and everything that happened in the movie was 100% accurate and true, and there was nothing really played up. But that wasn't the entire development cycle. That was literally the last part where we were going through bug testing and then various bullshit with Microsoft, and that was all of that part. But yeah, like the beginning of development was just great. I mean, like seeing people. I think as far as in the movie, like what it shows in the movie, I got happy when I saw people were liking it, because up until that point, you just have like it went to PAX and people loved it at PAX, and that's great. But I wasn't there to see it. you hear all these things about people liking it and all this, but then to actually see like YouTube videos of it and see people reacting to it and all that, that was the best part of it for me. Is just that, like, a feeling of accomplishment and a feeling of like, oh, okay, well, you know, this worked, you know.
Yeah, what you're seeing in the movie is like complete sleep deprivation for 2 months.
Totally.
My memories, there's so many parts in the movie that I don't remember at all. Like, my memory's so fuzzy, and I know that on Tommy's end, it was worse.
Yeah.
In fact, you're also like, you're diabetic, and you were quite thin then. You were pretty fucking unhealthy at that point.
Yeah, I was very unhealthy.
Tommy was digging a grave for a while.
Yeah, I seriously was. Like, if Meat Boy would have gone on for like another year at that last rate with the 2 months, I'm pretty sure I would have died, because it was constant. It was constant stress, which with diabetes and stress, you know, that's part of the reason why I was so thin, is because my blood sugars were bouncing all over the place. And yeah, I think the lowest I weighed was 143 pounds.
Wow.
Which I'm right at like 5'11" or so, but I'm not like lanky 5'11". I have like a decent frame. But yeah, I was super, super thin. I hadn't weighed that much since I think 9th grade. It's just like pretty insane just going through all of that.
I actually had a bad case of obesities during the movie.
Obesities?
Obesities. And it's horrible. You have to eat. You're just hungry all the time, and you're lazy. You just sit there, and it's hard.
Yours sounds way more fun than mine. You're cramming Little Caesars pizzas.
I don't know if you ever realize this. It's hard to be me. Sometimes I'm not even hungry and I eat.
Sometimes I don't want a chocolate bar, but I just eat one anyway.
Yeah, it's your diabetic privilege. Get off your high horse. Man, I sweat while I'm eating.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that they, you know, it wouldn't be an entertaining movie, or it could still be entertaining, but not nearly as engaging if it was just like, hey, I'm having a really good fun time doing this, but the game's not going to be out for a year.
Obviously, you're not reading the comments.
Yeah.
Because according to the internet, it would have been a lot better if everything went great and they showed everybody's everything. Actually, they already think that everything is great. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think that was the original argument, was that all the developers succeed, so the movie sucks.
Yeah. I want to see some people fail.
Even though Phil doesn't really succeed, his game came out and he succeeded, but like he doesn't succeed in the movie. But that was still the thing. It's like, you only showed successful developers that all succeed. It's like, wow, they must have been really fucking psychic.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Seriously.
Oh, okay. I wish they would have told me that we were going to succeed.
Oh, man, it would have been so great. It would have been so great to know that at the end of that, at the end of the movie, they would have put up that thing that said Meat Boy sold 1 million copies. Like, that would have really helped me out.
They tell us. It's like that just goes to show how horrible people, at least Anna and Jamie, are, that they couldn't even tell us that we were going to be successful.
Yeah, they knew this.
They made us just time. It was awful.
Drama.
Drama.
Yeah, enjoy your Sundance Award, jerks.
And then
tell Phil. At least tell Phil that he's not going to kill himself.
Yeah,
so
just
have to worry about.
Be all right.
They know the ending.
And then have the courage to actually come on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, dodging.
Know where they are. They're sitting on their high tower, looking down at the peasants.
They're sitting on their HBO deal.
Yeah.
$1 million off of.
Yeah.
Where we were exploited.
Terrible people.
God.
Going back to the, you wish they told you, but like the kind of context of the film is interesting because I saw it pretty early on in its like distribution life cycle back in like spring of 2012, I guess. And it was this weird thing where like I lived in a small town, but they did a deal where they simultaneously cast it to like a bunch of theaters via satellite.
Yeah.
Which was a really neat thing because there were like 2 people in the whole theater in my small town. But I was like, I don't know who they had to lie to get them to buy this like event for today, but I'm so glad they did. But I think I saw it like the Wednesday of the week that Fez came out. So it was a really interesting time to be watching it and be like, well, I hope it works out for that guy.
Yeah.
But it was nice watching it and being like, already knowing the story in advance. So like when you guys are going through struggles, I'm like, don't worry, you'll be fine.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can pull any more questions about the chat. I'm not going to ask you guys how you feel about E3 this year.
You can ask us.
Okay, how do you feel about E3 this year?
Smash Brothers.
Smash, right. Yeah. Smash Brothers. Zelda.
That's pretty good.
Crackdown.
I just asked Tommy. I'm so lazy that I seriously I'm like, Tommy's gonna read about it. I'll just ask Tommy. Tommy will fill me in.
I tell him what the good things. I tell him what to go see. I said, go watch the thing about Zelda.
Yep.
And there you go.
That's one thing Tommy's good at, filling me in.
Ew.
What? Yeah, E3.
Some people are asking, is there still going to be a mobile version of the original Super Meat Boy?
Not the original.
No, you can't do the original on. Who wants to play that? You can't play the original. What do you want? Some precision platforming with your little fat Cheeto fingers on your screen? It's not going to work.
That's mean, Tommy.
But I mean, that's just to say that everybody, no matter how thin you are, when you touch an iPhone screen, there's always Cheetos dust.
Cheeto residue is all over it. No, trust me. So my sister got my nephew Dusty his own phone to play games on. He's 5, and that thing is just covered in disease. There's just like snot and poo and Cheeto residue all over that thing, and he hands it to me like, "Hey, you want to play it?" It's like, get the fuck away from me!
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It's some fucking Listerine wipes.
Phones are probably like, they should do a study. What was it? They're supposed to be like doorknobs are like the worst. I guarantee you, phones are just covered in crap. And that's why you shouldn't play Meat Boy on them, because
that's exactly why. We're doing this for you.
Circle back to healthy. We're all about being healthy now.
Yeah, we're all healthy.
We're all healthy now. Come on, people.
But yeah, as a complete answer, no, not the original Meat Boy. Go away.
All right.
Yeah.
That was fast. I apologize to whoever that was that asked that question. I hope I didn't misrepresent it. Related to the movie, Kamikaze Mime asks, are there any parts of your appearance in Indie Game the Movie that you regret, or you feel like you maybe would, if you could do it over again, like things you wouldn't say, or...
Take it away, Tommy!
Yeah, so my first fucking line, which would serve as the character introduction for me, is me talking about how Halo and Call of Duty are shit. It's a very brief statement on how I feel about those games. And to further clarify, I'm terrible at those games, so I think they're shitty. I don't like them. I don't think they're original. I don't think they don't do anything for me. I do, however, respect the time and the effort that it takes to put into those. But instead, I don't make shit games. Like, I would much prefer my character introduction not be that, because you have an idea of who I am at that point as just this elitist asshole that only likes indie games, which is very far from the truth.
Tommy plays
I do regret that. Also, my toes.
Your toes?
My toes are gross.
That's like one of the better parts of the movie, though.
I had a question on my Tumblr of, do you think people with foot fetishes watch that part over and over? And I guarantee there's somebody who has.
Masochistic foot fetishes.
Yeah, like, I want to see some sick feet. Look at him, he's got diabetes.
Toenail could rip me apart. There's something, too, in the movie that Danielle always brings up, where a lot of people going in, like, have an idea of who Tommy is, and they know that Meat Boy was a success or whatever else. Yeah. And it really changes how you would view Tommy when he says that. Because the Tommy that was saying that had not released a game himself at all, like was just starting to basically work on Meat Boy, was new to the independent scene, and was like just talking and just saying whatever. Like it wasn't, it comes off a lot worse when it's like, well, you know that this guy made a successful game, so he's much more easy to be like, well, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
This is looking so good. But the thing is I mean, I think a lot of it was kind of like just being, you know, retardedly cocky in a tongue-in-cheek way. Like, he wasn't saying that he was.
Yeah, it totally was.
Tommy had not made a game himself yet then. Like, it wasn't, he hadn't made that game yet.
Yeah, I say I don't make shit games, being that the one game that I've made is still in production. Like, yeah, I regret that, just because I don't want people to think that I hate indie games, because I actually I love the worst AAA games. I love Metal Gear, like, to a insane degree. Like, I've smiled in like 2 pictures my entire life, and one of them was with Kojima. Like, that's it. Like, but yeah, it's just not that I really care, but it's like, this is not who I am. I'm a nice guy. I respect work. You know.
I think I came off too nice, personally.
Yeah, you go through that too. You think, because everybody thinks you're like super happy-go-lucky and
a gentle giant.
A gentle giant, and then when people approach you that way,
I go.
People approach me like very timid because they think I'm just gonna go fuck yourself, you know. But,
no, it is a bit weird to come off in the movie. Like, I thought that when this movie was being filmed, I thought, oh, I'm going to be the Phil Fish. Before I knew what Phil Fish was in the movie, but that's what I thought I would be. I thought I would be a not likable character that said stupid shit. And because trust me, like, I remember saying some really weird shit when I was really sleep deprived. I remember comparing game design to being a god.
And then you said you would rather be in the Holocaust or something.
yeah, I did say that. There's that one. That was something that, because that was in the trailer, and I remember a lot of people were up in arms that I said, I feel like I'm in a concentration camp. Yeah. And they took that as like that I said I was making light of the Holocaust, which I wasn't. Trust me, if I wanted to say the Holocaust, I would have said it. Not to say that like one concentration camp is worse than the other, but I think most would agree that.
Actually, there were concentration camps that were worse than others.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But whatever. But that was more amusing than anything else, because I don't understand how anybody in the world would be offended by that, because I don't see how anybody could think I was remotely serious.
I do.
Like, I'm a warped individual.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're a warped individual that's a Holocaust denier. We get it.
There were parts in the movie that were cut out that like there was more to the ending actually that would make me look like much more of a blubbering blubber, a blubbering blubber as they call it, because there were questions that came after that initial final question, which just continued me in my crybaby fit, and I'm kind of glad that wasn't in, because it's hard enough to like watch that part in the movie now, and it was just, I just broke down. A lot of people don't understand too that in the movie at that point we seriously were losing our fucking minds. It was like just emotional chaos, and it was such ups and downs. And other people don't usually, I don't think they get from the movie as well, as that whenever Tommy is down, which is usually when he's being filmed, it's like I'm usually up, and then it'll switch, and like we will bring each other up and down, and they just happen to not be filming me at the more low lows.
Yeah. They only got me at the lows.
So yeah, they got Tommy when he was low, and they got me when I was high, and coincidentally Phil as well.
Yeah, Phil was high. So thing.
But I do think that all of us are a bit of an exaggeration of who we are, and the thing to always keep in mind too is this is just who we were then at that point in time during that kind of struggle. Like we're not We're including Phil. Like we're not all that over the top all the time, and it was pretty isolated. It was a pretty isolated incident. I don't think we'll ever even go through that again, ever.
If you meet somebody the first time and they're running out of a burning building, it's not fair to be like, "Wow, that guy's high strung." Like that's not fair.
Calm the fuck down, guys.
Yeah. Wow, geez, what's the hurry?
He's on fire all the time too. Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up as well. Is that I find it funny when people will like, you know, sitting down in their computer chairs or something, or on their sofa, having like a delicious snack, watching the movie on the big screen TV, or like, this guy complains a lot. Your life's not so hard. But yeah, and like kind of a tangential question to that I'm pretty sure I know the answer to, but I'd love to hear in more detail is, like, is it super weird to watch the movie? Like, this is like your umpteenth time watching it, I guess, but does it get easier, or is it as eerie and strange as, you know, the most people would probably think that it would be?
Anything repetitively, once you view or experience it multiple times, you kind of become numb to it. But the first time Tommy and I watched it together, we watched it together, I think, for the first time here at my place, and it was pretty insane.
Yeah, I think we watched it again like the next day or something.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we just kept watching it. But yeah, I actually haven't seen the movie probably in 2 years, maybe.
The last time I saw it was when we filmed recorded the commentary.
I think that was the last time I saw it, and that was when? Was that just last year?
We're not the egomaniacs you guys think we are.
I watch it every day.
I look so great in that.
Wow,
shot, man.
God, I was so thin back then. After that
It is, of course, surreal. That whole time was surreal. Like, everything about that time was weird and changing and just bizarre. And it was just weird. Like, it was life-changing. And seeing the movie was surreal. And because it wasn't like, I got the feeling when I saw it for the first time, it wasn't like I was watching myself, but it felt like I was just watching a movie, and the movie seemed really good.
Yeah, totally.
And I just happened to be a part of it or whatever.
I just happened to be the star. That's why it was so good.
I'll tell you the thing that's super awkward, though, is like when you try to explain to somebody that you're in a movie. Well, I'll be like, hey, have you ever seen this movie? Somebody's asking me about what I do or whatever, and I'll say, like, have you seen this movie, Indie Game the Movie? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, you know, it's really cool. You should check it out. Like, it won at Sundance. It's a really good documentary. I try to sidestep the question or the fact that I'm in it, because it seems really weird when you're like, oh, I'm in a movie and you should see it. Like, it never doesn't come off well. And because I am a legitimate fan of the movie and what the movie stands for. And if I wasn't in the movie, I would still love the movie. It has nothing to do with it. They did a really good job, and they kind of gave a lot of people out there something that they could show their friends and family and say, like, this is my goal, like, this is what I want to do. And then it's easy for them to understand. And like my own mother, I don't think had a full understanding of what I did, what it entailed, and why I did it until she saw the movie. And that goes for my father and a bunch of people in my family. Like, to them, I was just the guy who was always on the computer playing video games whenever they came over. And I probably came off as just an obsessive video game player who always had my back to everybody when they were there. And it takes something like that to like give a voice to a large number of people to say, like, I'm not trying to get a job at a company. I'm trying really hard to make a name for myself. I'm trying really hard to make stuff that I'm proud of, and this is what I'm about. And I think a lot of people could use that, and not even with games, but just like in art in general. Like, I think any artist can watch the movie and be like, yeah, that's how I feel. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm fighting for something. I'm fighting for my own voice to be heard, you know?
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people in chat are kind of echoing as well, is that not only is it kind of inspiring to watch people go through various points of that, like, struggle to make something creative and come out the other side one way or the other, but also that, like, there's a scene when I was just testing before we got started, like, on the release date of Super Meat Boy, where Tommy is out for dinner, you're out for dinner with your family, and you're kind of explaining what will happen if it doesn't actually get front page promotion. And I was like, that's a really good way for people who are not in the industry at all to actually kind of understand that, like, it's serious stuff. Like, it's important and it's creative, but also, like, it's not just a glorified hobby for the most part. So I think it's cool that it kind of makes things more accessible, or like you said, you could show it to a family member and be like, this is what I'm doing, and it helps that the movie is actually good as well. So
yeah, I'm sure that helps.
Yeah.
And trust me, there have been a few. One of the more interesting things that people always ask about the movie is, they're like, how did they find you, and like, you know, where did this come from? And they were one of multiple documentary crews that had visited me or Tommy in the past year. Yes. Like, I had multiple film crews at my house. It was just like, it was weird. It was like, it was this big indie boom. Everybody was talking about it. And I happened to be at a point in my career where I think a lot of people were finally acknowledging the work that I had done before Meat Boy, which is how I was able to even get the deal to do it on Xbox. Like, I had the attention of enough people. And there have been documentaries that have even already released that are like, that I was originally a part of, that I got cut out of because of Indie Game the Movie. And I look at those and I'm like, wow, I'm glad we did this one. I'm glad this is the one that was released, because I am not a fan of the really cold, like, PBS straight information documentaries.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
this was something special. Like, they went in a direction with this that they saw that they could go in a more traditional movie arc direction, instead of this cold talking heads vignettes about video games. And they took the risk and they went for it, and I think it was like the best choice that they could have made, because they went from something that I thank God that I get to show my mother this movie and not some cold ass PBS documentary of a bunch of talking heads talking about how boring it is to make video games. Because the thing is for the most part, the work appears boring. You're
It's
just sitting
really, really boring. And that was that's the funny thing to read in the comments and stuff, is like, oh, I wanted to see more about the process. And as somebody who goes through the process every fucking day, no, you don't. You want to see the emotion behind it. You don't want to see me writing code and Ed drawing animations. You don't, because you can't make an entire movie out of that. And people have tried, and there's a reason you haven't seen those movies.
It is. It's the fact of the matter is, what we do is all about, like, you don't want to see the man really behind the curtain, because that man's just sitting there hitting a button over and over again for years.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see the finished product.
Like, over-the-shoulder shots of, like, Tommy programming. Like, Tommy Refinez is an indie programmer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
You should see how he codes. He lifts his elbows when he does it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so weird. What's your secret? Oh, I sit sort of up in my chair. Like, who cares? Like, sometimes I even stand.
Are you crazy?
Ah.
So some people in chat are asking, and I saw Rock Lee Smile ask this as well to give some credit. What kind of stuff you guys are playing right now? I think people are always interested to know what the people who make games are actually playing, to get some perspective on that. So if you guys have any insight on that, feel free.
What are you playing right now, Tommy? Tommy's been streaming. He's been streaming.
Yeah, I've been streaming to sort of give me something to do other than just work, and I enjoy the streaming. It's a lot of fun. I streamed walking across Los Santos, GTA 5. It takes 2 hours and 24 minutes.
That was that was one of your better streams. I like that.
Yeah, I really like that one. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I played Wolfenstein. I didn't like it. I'm playing Watch Dogs now, and Geometry Wars. Oh, and I'm grinding through Final Fantasy X HD while I poop, so I can fight Nemesis.
Well, that'll only take you like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no, I've been. I think my anus is starting to prolapse.
That's a back of the box quote. I think you stole that from Eurogamer. Final Fantasy X HD. I think my anus is starting to prolapse. 8 out of 10.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. Yeah.
I play Magic. That's like my go-to game at this point. Like, I play a lot of Magic. I draft Magic. I'm looking forward to playing some Vintage Masters Online tonight after this is over. Magic. I've been playing a lot of like just social games in real life, like Cards Against Humanity and Time's Up. We usually every Saturday we'll have a bunch of people over and we'll either play. We usually play Magic and then we'll transition into Cards Against Humanity, Time's Up, and a few other games that we play. Video game wise, not so much. Nothing. I do the thing where I live vicariously through Tommy. Tommy usually does more of that stuff than I do, and I'll be like, "Hey, was Wolfenstein any good?" Or I'll watch his stream, and it'll be like, "Nope."
Nope.
All right, glad I didn't do that. There's been a lot of that. Like, I have yet to like find something where I'm like, I probably should play this. It's like, no, I'll just watch somebody play it. And then I watch somebody play it, and I'm like, well, glad I didn't play that.
Yeah, I wasted some money on Wolfenstein. I'm not gonna get that time back either.
I feel bad because that game is like, I really like the tone, but I have something wrong with my brain where I can't navigate like 3D environments with the kind of map that they have. So I just like spin around in a circle.
I'm totally with you. I really like the theme of that game. Like I really love the alt history kind of stuff, but the character writing is not good, and it's super heavy-handed. And then I think they made weird like choices with their controls. Like, why would you ever not want to pick up ammo or armor, but have to consciously? So you just run around mashing X or square, in my case, to pick up stuff, and it was just weird. But yeah, and then the guy always talks. He always talks like this, and he's always like whispering a little bit, and it just sounds so stupid. It's like, I remember last time I had a game of catch with my dad. And it's like, what? What is this?
That was actually
Nazis. Where's Mega Hitler?
That was a really accurate impression, actually. Yeah. I like that. So I'm just gonna start making up names for people in Twitch chat because the questions go by so quickly.
That's cool.
I saw Beanpole 420 XX asked, how does the development of Mugenics, like the process of development Mugenics, how you guys feel, I guess, compared to the development of Super Meat Boy, now that obviously so much has changed over the past 4 years?
It doesn't, and it's not, but I don't think it's the time. I think it's the type of game. Like, we went in, spoiler alert, sim games are not fun to make.
They are not.
They are quite boring. Like, I feel for people. I want to be in communication with people like that made Animal Crossing or whatever else, because when you rip a game like Animal Crossing apart and you just strip it down to the very basics of like, what type of game is this and what do? You do nothing. You do nothing. Like, you do nothing. And doing nothing and designing doing nothing and trying to make doing nothing entertaining is actually just this mind fuck. And it involves just making a lot of content. Like, because you're trying to make this endless random generation that goes on forever. You're trying to simulate life, right?
Yeah.
So with Mugenics, it's like Tommy's doing this infinite cat AI. I'm doing this infinite cat possibility visuals and animations. I'm doing this infinite like furniture, and Tommy's having to, make sure all this furniture works with all these cats. And then you're looking at it, and all you're seeing is like baby steps, kind of, in a way. And it was very hard to work on. It's not like we're like, all right, we added this new feature, let's hit test and play it. Oh, it's really fun. That's not how it works. Yeah. Because what we did is we added one of 1,000 more items in the game, and that's not how you're testing that. Like, all right, well, that looks good. Oh, okay, now this cat eats its own shit. All right, we tested it. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, correct.
We're trying to simulate this like living environment, and it's not fun to do. Like, it's what's fun to do is make a character run around the screen and jump over stuff that's hard to jump over, like instant feedback.
Yeah, like a little instant gratification of things.
It's just definitely not there with Mugenics, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's taken so long for us to develop as well. Where it's like, Sims are just hard to do, and they definitely don't give you the instant gratification that something like a platformer or any kind of action-based, Twitch-based, dexterity-based game would do. And that's one of the reasons why it's hard. It has nothing to do with like I don't think we need any kind of extra stress of releasing on a console or whatever else like that, like in order to keep things moving.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of those situations where it's like, oh, we picked a sim, and we knowingly picked it, knowing that it was something that we didn't really want to do because it would be a challenge. We wanted a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Look at how smart we are. We wanted a challenge, and we got ourselves a big one.
We got ourselves a big fucking challenge.
And that challenge will be lasting for a few more years. But
yeah.
in the meantime, we're working on some stuff that's not as challenging,
but way more fun to work on. So.
Way more fun to work.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I was gonna say, you know, I bet Super Meat Boy 2 sounded like a really smart idea about halfway through your Mugenics work this year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've
a lot of things. Really good ideas.
I've made a lot of different games. I know a lot of people know me for like the 2 games that you play, Ryan. But I have made a lot of games, and I've explored a lot of genres, and Sims, a simulation was not a game that I'd ever done before, and I wanted to try out, and now I know. But yeah, all in all, though, I really think that when Mugenics comes out, it'll be something really special, and I can guarantee that even if it takes another year to come out, plus, there still won't be anything remotely like it out there. It's just so bizarre, and it's such a bizarre experience.
Yeah, I had a question on the Tumblr, like, am I worried that when Mugenics comes out, if somebody's going to clone it? And, like, I read that question, I seriously laughed out loud, because I'm like, good fucking luck. Like, knock yourself out.
It's weird. It's, like, super weird, but I think what it has to offer is not being offered currently at all.
No.
Yeah, in order to keep our sanity, we need to focus on the other games for a bit, which we know now not to talk about until we're a little further along.
Yes.
This is more for Tommy, but again, as in like an addendum to the last question.
God damn it!
Sorry, cut you out here.
What is it, the Tommy Reffinus show?
Yeah, this is the Tommy show, hosted by Tommy and somebody who looks like Tommy.
I knew you had an ulterior motive for asking me to help out with this.
Yeah.
Just be the butt of the jokes, I guess. But
yes,
that's my position in real life anyway, so I'm fine by that. But how was the experience of showing off Mugenics at PAX? Because I was gonna stop by, but you were being, you know, mobbed like Justin Bieber or something like that. So I decided to spend my time elsewhere.
Mobbed like Justin Bieber. Mugenics showed pretty well at PAX. People seem to get into it and enjoy it, and yeah, I was constantly mobbed at that thing to the point where the last day I felt sick, and I felt like I might have to go to the hospital because it was nonstop talking to people.
Yeah.
Which you might be going, oh, boo-hoo, celebrity has to talk to some people, but try doing that for 8 hours without eating. It's terrible. Like there's no break. But yeah, like we had Mugenics there on two screens, and we always had a crowd, and it was really all we had there was just some mild furniture stuff, like playing with your house, and cat breeding, mild cat AI, and then fights. And yeah, that right there was enough to just be weird enough that people just kept paying attention to it and kept coming back and wanting to play it. And that was nice, and it gave me a bit of a confidence boost after it was all done. But it's still one of those things where like the game's still so far off from like what our end vision is that it's like I almost don't want to show it again because I just want to be like, no, just wait. You don't understand. You don't understand what all is there. There's a billion things that I've written that are not connected to anything.
Yeah, how does the code compare to Super Meat Boy? Like how big?
Oh, there's way more. Just as far as you can't really compare lines of code, but there's way more systems like this. Well, we've been working on it for close to. We started in September of 2012, so we're almost on 2 years of it. And like with Meat Boy, There was 6 months where I was sort of working on everything just by myself, and Ed was wrapping up stuff at Cryptic Sea. But then after that 6 months, the game was basically done, and then it was just implementation of content. We have a ton of content that's implemented in Mugenics, and we have a ton of gameplay that's implemented in Mugenics, but it's still not even close to being done. So it's like that 6 months it took me to get an editor and actual movement and all that stuff ready so we could start making Meat Boy. Like, we're still sort of in that kind of phase when it comes to Mugenics. So as far as a comparison, like that's kind of where you go. It's like we're not at the, hey, we can just give this to people and they can play the full game kind of thing. We're kind of at the point. There was this one point where we showed Meat Boy at an event in London, and the whole demo, there was no map, there was nothing. The whole demo was just 12 levels, and I would say that was maybe more of a complete game than what Mugenics is currently, even though we've been working on it for 2 years. So that, if that gives you an idea of scope, like 12 levels of Meat Boy, more playable game than what Mugenics is right now. Like I think that's the best indicator of actual scope as to how big this game is compared to how big Meat Boy was.
It's such an odd thing to compare to because, again, you're comparing a game, and it's a type of game that a lot of people don't discuss and talk about. Like, even in the development scene, like no one breaks apart Animal Crossing and is like, this is how we designed a game that is to be played over a year.
Yeah.
Like if you're designing a game that's based on kind of almost like real life time and this really long-winded gameplay, it's really brain breaking. Like it's really hard to get everything in place, and you've got to have so much stuff. And also, it's really awful to demo because this is a game that you're supposed to be playing every day for a few hours.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again for a very long period of time to really see things are changing as the weeks go by, and dramatically. Like, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, I'm jumping right in. Here are my few cats. I bred them twice, and the cats kind of look like the parents.
Yeah.
It's like, but you fast forward a month, and those cats might look like complete monsters.
Yeah, totally.
Like, depending on how you're breeding things, and your house might be full of like flesh melting from the ceilings.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, it's very hard. Very hard to show.
Yeah. Normally, like, you go to a convention and, you know, they give you the controller and you're like, hey, I've got this figured out in like 2 minutes. You're like, yeah, left stick to move, right stick to aim, right trigger to kill people who are not like me, and then you're good, right? And you leave and you're like, I can tell I'm either going to like or not like that game. But it strikes me that with Mugenics, you could play it and be like, well, that was cool. I have no idea like what that's going to hit me like when it comes out. But I think that's part of the reason why people are excited, is because it's so...
Yeah, I think people's imaginations are sort of running wild because, you know, we talk about it and we've talked about it quite a bit, and that gives an idea of what it is. But there's still people that think it's a platformer, or people that think it's a role-playing game. And it's like, it's none of those.
Cool. Just as we segue into the movie here, there's an interesting question from Mario323, which is not a made-up name.
It sounds like it is.
Well, they made it up. I didn't make it up. Presumably at some point in the past. Just as we get ready to watch the movie, they wanted to know, is there anything from that period of time when like the movie was being made, or while Super Meat Boy was being made, or before its release, that you actually miss? Because it seems like things are overall, you know, a little bit more positive now. But is there anything like from that period that you know, you're nostalgic about, or wish you could get back, kind of?
I've actually said that I miss that apartment. Like,
yeah.
It sounds so cliche.
I miss that apartment.
Yeah, it sounds so cliche, and like, but I can't avoid the fact that like I miss that time. Like, I miss those kind of hardships. I miss being more unknown, and I miss the way my life was before all this stuff happened. Like the movie, and you know, the illusion of success and all this other stuff has really changed a lot of things in my life. You know, most of those things are positive, but a lot of those things still are negative. And it's made stuff harder with my family. Like, there's just a lot of awkward interactions. You have a lot of expectations, especially after they see the movie and they see numbers and whatever else. I've had people from high school randomly message me asking if I could pay their mortgage for the month. I don't know who these people are. Like, it's somebody that I like remember from a gardening school in freshman year high school messaged me and asked me to pay her mortgage.
I remember.
It's like, what? Like, what the fuck? And this stuff is just kind of changed in that way. And there's definitely a big piece of me that wants to go back to simpler times. Like, it's hard to avoid. Like, there are times where I want to just restart and maybe make an alter ego and start making games under a different name just so I can do it all over again, because it's all about the fight and the adventure that is fun about making games, which is another reason why we jumped into Mugenics. Like, It's all about creating that fight again. And I do feel nostalgic about that apartment, because that apartment kind of embodied the struggle and simpler times and being poor and loving it. Like, and that's what it was. Like, all of us, we were poor, living in that, even when Tommy was living with us.
Yeah.
Like, that apartment. We were super fucking poor, but having a blast.
Yeah.
Because shit was simple, and we were having fun doing something that we felt was meaningful, and things have gotten more complicated in a lot of weird ways. And I hate, it's not like a poo-poo, money and success is bad. Yeah. But it changes, it's different. And the familiarity of I just kind of want to go back sometimes. I mean, I think about going all the way back to when me and Danielle lived in a room with a bunch of college kids eating top ramen and hot dogs for months and months, barely making any money when I was making Gish back in like 2004. I had a blast then too, like simpler times. Like, you never think about those. Like, the simpler times were definitely very enjoyable because you had nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that. I mean, my apartment in Arden, the one where it showed me rolling around on the thing looking for the remote and then being pissed off at the beginning of the movie, like, I cried when I left that apartment. I was moving to Charlotte, and I was living on the 18th floor of like this luxury apartment high-rise place, and I cried when I left that apartment because that was like the last little tangible bit that actually connected back to that time. And then it's gone. There's a lot to be said about how like a struggle actually forms your perception of things and how it like forms your personality and what your value systems are. And there's actually a book, and it's like one of the only books I read in high school. It's going to sound fucked up, but this is something you should try. So this book, it's called Man's Search for Meaning. And what it is, it's a two-part book. First part is, I don't remember which the first or which the second, but one part of it is, it's about this guy that was in a concentration camp. And he was imprisoned by the Nazis. And the entire book was like, well, the first part of the book was all about like the story of him, like how he came to be in the concentration camp and everything. And then after that was, I think he referred to it as something called like logotherapy or something like that. I don't remember the exact word, but the idea behind it was that when people have a struggle, or if they have some hardship that they're facing, that it makes the life that they're living more, like they value it more, they cherish it more. So, no, I was not in a concentration camp during Meat Boy development, but at the same time I was struggling and I was getting by, and those moments of victory when it was like, oh, hey, PAX, they had to take Meat Boy off of a whole bunch of machines because people kept starting, shutting down Comic Jumper and playing Meat Boy. That felt all that much better because during that time, that was during the crazy crunch of, like, fixing bugs, like getting up at 8 in the morning after going to bed at 4 in the morning, and after fixing a day's worth of 128 bugs only to wake up to 136 bugs. Because of the new shit that you put in, like introduce more bugs. But like those victories were all that much sweeter because of the struggle that was going on around that time. And I do miss that quite a bit because there's really no, like, the struggles that I have now, they're not the same. There is no desperation. There is nothing like that. There's just right now I'm just sort of very comfortably living and casually making games, and it doesn't feel the same as Meat Boy did because there's nothing on the line. There's nothing at stake. You know, there's no really good feeling victories. But I guess the way that the thing that I've been thinking lately is the way that I get back to that point is to do bigger and to do more and to do better, to try to get back to that point where the victories that I have related to the struggles that I have make the life that I'm living feel all that much better. So,
wow,
that's a weird thing, I think, sometimes.
No, that was a really good answer. So, that is actually a really convenient segue into the movie, but we're going to take a quick 4-minute break, let's say, and then when we come back, we'll be doing Indie Game the Movie live screened on the channel with live commentary from Ed and Tommy. So thanks for joining us so far, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, and we're back. So, because we are not in the same exact location here. Oh, let me make sure the audio subtitles are hooked up properly as well. But because we are not in the same location here, you probably should not be able to see my downloads folder, but that's okay. Mating in there, nothing incriminating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to do like old school sync up style, the way you would like on AIM try to watch some movies or TV shows with your friends at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I do want to point out just before we get started here, again, as I mentioned to you guys, it's the first time I've ever streamed anybody else's movie with commentary over top. So I'm going to try to get the audio balance perfect. But if it's bad, I can adjust it on the fly. Just let me know, chat. Okay. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
So it'll be 3, 2, 1, go. And on go, click the play button.
All right.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Are we going?
Hey, it's Blinkworks.
Yeah.
Now it's not Blinkworks.
Now it's not. Okay. Good. We are synced up and we're ready.
All
we're
right.
ready. Black screen.
Yeah.
This was my favorite part of the movie.
My favorite part is when it's over.
that's also my favorite part.
Oh, yep. Tommy's looking for his remote. It's a prolapse.
I think I'm a little behind you. I'm gonna attempt to fix this.
Oh, this is how you run into trouble.
I know this. It's a slippery slope.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening. You're looking scruffy. And confused.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Did I just say you fucking
And
kidding
a
me?
little thin, and you're looking a little veiny.
Yeah, I'm a little thin and veiny. That's normal.
Yeah. The hair's patchy.
Yeah.
That's what we're at that point, Tommy.
We're at the part where I have patchy hair and I'm squinting really hard to look at the screen.
Yep. Why don't you have your glasses on?
I don't know. They're probably.
You.
I think they were broken actually.
Look at that baby pouting with your fucking Diet Snapple.
That's.
You have
Oh, yeah.
Diet Snapple. You know,
Yeah, I
you
did.
don't have Diet Snapple.
I like Diet Snapple.
Yeah, you would.
Part of it.
This is the part of the movie where they're like, let's get artsy and take a picture of this hanging Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah, they're trying a little too hard.
They got so much shit for that. Like so much
I
shit.
know.
I still don't. What was the argument here?
I don't know, something stupid.
People don't like the controller because it's a Super Nintendo controller, and
yeah, something like that. They don't like. Well, it's the internet. People just don't like anything.
I don't like this guy because he's white.
That's the thing about John Blow. He's white.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, this guy's white too.
Ugh.
I can still basically.
I hear he's Greek.
I hear he's a Greek white guy.
I can make that.
I have several immunities as far as what I can make jokes about. So I got diabetes,
Things that are personal.
so I can make diabetes jokes. I can make jokes about Parkinson's because my grandfather had Parkinson's, and I can make jokes about Greeks because obviously I'm Greek.
I can make gay jokes because I let a kid touch my wiener when I was 6.
I remember I was there.
At least it wasn't when he was 6.
Yeah. that would be pretty bad.
I can make pedophile jokes too.
So it's the
Yeah,
same
because I'm a pedophile.
My whole career has been me trying to find new ways to communicate with people.
That game was racist.
Because I desperately
It
want to
really
meet
was.
people, but I don't want the messy interaction.
Look at
of
that
having to
hair. I
make
got
friends and talk to people because I'd probably
a whole
don't
bunch of
like
scruff.
it. You know,
Yeah,
you
you,
play games and you
There, I had a
put
mustache for a second and then I
like
didn't.
your stuff works, they
Scruffy
don't
blob.
see the way they're gonna give
Yep.
you some kind of feedback.
Scruffy
So
blob and his
then you have,
sidekick
this
cancer.
conversation.
Why rights, I guess, you know, it's because they can. That's.
Do you remember them like doing these weird swoopy shots like between monitors? I don't remember them ever doing that.
I remember him doing it.
making it.
Because you were rolling your eyes.
Yeah, because I'm like, I think at one point I told Lisa, I'm like, what do you want me to just type? Like, what am I supposed to do? Actually, at one point when she was filming me, it was, I actually rewrote the file kind of system stuff for Meat Boy while she was filming it. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, I just rewrote the file system thing. She's like, oh, really? Like, yeah, it's crunch. Busy.
Did it.
Why are you still here?
A lot of people don't realize this. Because I say this also in the other commentary. I did work on Braid. I did actually work. It's not a joke.
Yeah, it's true.
Worked on Braid with John. I'm the guy that designed Tim. I designed all the characters actually, and I did all the animation initially. And then David came back through because he was doing all the backgrounds, and John wanted the graphics to match up because I was doing. It was a flashy. It was everything was in Flash, so it looked more like Flash art. And David came through and like retouched everything, all the animations, kind of like drew over them in a Photoshop style and made it all pretty. It's for real.
Hey, you know what? I worked on Braid too.
Yeah?
Whatever.
John would make me draw the same picture like 25 different times, and then he would choose one of them, and it would be the one that was originally the one that was like, oh, he'll probably like that one, but I'll draw like 25 different noses for him, so he has an option. But this one looks the best, and then he'd pick the one that looks the best either way.
The weird thing though is he made you do it naked.
Yeah.
And he would stand over you and yell at you during it.
Yeah. He has a weird. It's but he's an artist.
Yeah, no, you can't. You know, he's eccentric.
He's an eccentric guy, like, and he's white, so you know.
Yeah, well, he's got that going for him.
World of Goo. Fun fact.
Okay.
I borrowed in quotes. I borrowed some sound effects from Kyle and Ron from World of Goo, and I used them in Isaac. See if you can figure out where. I'll give you a hint. It sounds just like World of Goo.
I'm thinking it's when something explodes or pops.
I don't even remember.
Oh, well, thanks a lot.
Something happens. Man, I remember when Limbo came out, I was like, holy shit. That game's gonna crush us.
Yeah.
We're never gonna compare. I also remember playing Minecraft in the TIG forums for free and thinking, what's the big deal? That game fucking exploded. The crazy thing, and a lot of people ask this too, we know all these people, like, personally. And it's weird because it seems like it's the small, they call it the Indie Illuminati.
Yeah,
all these developers know each other. I gotta point out do you see the art on the side of the apartment? There's two rectangles going into each other. That's art. I had to look at that every day when I drove up. But yeah, we all know each other because we all kind of like grew up in the industry together. Like, both Tommy and I met Tom in like 1999 when he was starting Newgrounds, and we were both doing Flash animations and Flash games. And then Tom ended up working with Dan Paladin on Alien Hominid, which eventually went on to make Castle Crashers. Actually worked with Kyle on this weird indie game project in Target where like we released a bunch of bizarre little indie games in like 2007 or 6, probably 6 or 7. This is before he made World of Goo, Kyle Gabler, and it's just weird how everybody's like connected in some odd way, like over the years, and a lot of people live in the Bay Area too, so it's easy to get a hold of them.
And they're all white.
Oh, they're definitely, well, I mean, there's Derek and George, who are Asian, but I count them as white.
Yeah. Well, I'm not comfortable counting them as anything other than white, so it doesn't make much sense to me.
Look at that dork. If you go back and look at my picture, you'll notice a second set of disembodied legs next to me because they removed my friend. I wasn't playing by myself. My friend was there with me. His name was Ollie, and they cut his head off and body, and his legs are just sitting there next to me.
That's a tall order. They could have just asked him to move or something like that instead of straight up decapitating him.
Yeah, it's a different time.
Yeah, it's just, this room is my childhood.
Man, I remember when I had a room just like this.
Yeah, I still do. It's weird. My mom. Well, it looks a lot different now. She redid everything.
Super Meat Boy.
But it's like behind a layer of wood and stuff. Like if you were to take that down, all the posters and everything are still there. We're just gonna layer it up like quarters.
Was super popular.
Did you notice what was behind Anthony Carboni in that part? And oh, look over there, you can see him. You see those? They were IGF trophies, Tommy.
Yeah.
and it's got a kind of.
I'm never ever going to have an IGF trophy. The only time I held one is when I stole that one from Andy. Or I'm sorry, when I stole mine from Andy.
Or when we went backstage and we were looking at who was going to win the next year and kept.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. It was Minecraft.
Yeah, it really was.
Minecraft won everything 2 years in a row. It was, it was great. Releasing at the same time as the same year as Minecraft, so you'll never win any awards.
Well, that was amazing because we were up for like best indie game, but Minecraft wasn't out yet, so Minecraft, the beta of Minecraft, got best indie game.
We got beat by Minecraft everywhere, all day, every day. We were fine with it.
Yeah, whatever.
We don't have a publisher. We don't have investors. We don't answer to anybody.
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Dr. Fetus shoots somebody a bird because he only has 3 fingers.
Going through the ESRB process was interesting. I remember I think we were a bit more scared than we should have been. We were very worried. Like, my work and I guess humor, if you will, is questionable. And it was hard to tell which things that we said and did in the game would be the things that would be going too far. And the idiot I am, I thought that the most controversial thing in the game was when a fetus is stomped to death.
Yeah.
Nope. Incorrect. Not at all. It was actually a fart.
Yeah.
That was the most controversial thing. There's a part and it's not even like a big part where Brownie, the Pooh character, farts. It's this little high-pitched squeal, and in the documentation they were like, we need to see video of this.
Yeah.
Like, we need to see video of how you deal with this fart situation.
Yeah. We have some concerns. Don't worry about the blood or anything or the constant death. But how does he fart?
I don't. At what point was it going to go from a team to an M? Like, what was going to happen? Like, what the fart says? Fuck. A dick pops out of his ass.
It doesn't really
full dick pops out of his ass when he farts, so that was going to push it to M.
Yeah.
I really want to know. I want to know what exactly could the fart have had in it that would have gone from a T to an M?
Honestly, what I feel like is we said fart, but they wanted to make sure it wasn't like some guy standing between 2 chairs with his ass cheeks spread. Like something just like in their mind, they're like, oh god, they could go totally ridiculous with this. No, it's a fart. You did 3 of them on the way to the office this morning, moron.
If you follow
they're probably like, what if you could see the butthole puckering and an opening and then the gas actually coming out? That had to have been it. It's funny too when I wrote, because this is how it works, guys. When you submit to ESRB, you actually write up all the things that you believe to be questionable in terms of all these different categories, like drug use, violence, blah blah blah. You detail it all out, and then you send them footage of the things that are most questionable. And the way I wrote the scene where Dr. Fetus is crushed to death, I said like, Band-Aid Girl puts the villain. I try to avoid Fetus and crushing. I just tried to avoid that because I thought, oh, for sure, this is going to be the thing that's going to push us into an M, because you can't squash a fetus to death.
you can't crush a fetus.
Not that many people are going to see it because it's like the Dark World ending and everything else. So, but no, that wasn't it at all.
You could have transcended it, like gone from T and then he farts and it's an M, but then when he farts out like a Master Chief and he shoots somebody in the head, and then you'd actually go back to a T. Yeah.
That makes sense.
As long as there's violence and not boobs.
What we actually had planned for the Wii version, which never got released, this was totally in the Wii version. At the end of the game, you actually put down the balance board and you stomp on it.
To crush the fetus.
Yeah. There are people online that get off the videos of that.
They do. I mean, yeah, I'm one of them, but that's not
as hard as I can.
I made the game for the people.
Hey, it's Phil Fish.
That's the picture you always see when you
doing the
Google
best
image
I
search
can
Phil
here.
Fish.
I don't hear people
Yeah.
Him deliberately looking dumb to make fun of other people.
Yeah.
This was back when he was alive.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Before he killed himself.
Before he killed himself. And killed everybody else.
I get a lot of questions on Tumblr, people asking me, hey, I know you talked to Phil, can you ask him this question?
Yeah, I get those too.
Fuck off. Jesus
Christ.
Like,
yeah.
And I do. I ask him because Phil definitely wants to hear their stupid questions.
I have Phil here with me, actually.
Yeah. Hello, it's me, Phil Fish.
Hey, Phil, what's going on?
Pretty good.
Hey, what are you working on these days?
Oh, I have a new game. It's called Go Fuck Yourself. It's an adventures game. I like it a lot, and you'll never play it because I hate you.
We like Phil. Phil's a friend of ours.
Yeah, Phil's a good guy. Phil gets himself into a lot of trouble with his mouth.
Phil's easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
The thing that most people don't realize, though, is he doesn't really care as much as you think, and he totally plays it up.
Yeah, he likes it. The guy has a picture of Andy Kaufman as his Twitter icon. I think he wants you to make fun of him. I think he wants you to hate him.
And if Phil's listening, you should hop on Skype and we can really pull you in here, and then we can just mock you the whole time.
Yeah, we can ridicule you. You can try to do... Yeah. You can try to do my voice, and I'll do your voice, and you say all the stuff I'm going to say, and I'll say all the stuff you're going to say. But I'll say it in French.
I'm Phil Fish, and I hate Japanese people. Put that on Kotaku. Put that on your Kotaku.
Japanese? I don't like them. I don't like Chinese either. None of them. I only like Burger King.
There is a reason why Gomez is white.
Yeah. A very good reason why he's white is it's the master race.
I've made games but I've never
That's what
Phil, calm down, Phil. Jeez.
You remember what happened last time, Phil?
Phil, you're getting into trouble.
Don't do it, Phil.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself.
I'm going to kill you and all of your friends and family.
I apologize to all the moderators who are working overtime right now in chat.
Those poor moderators.
Yeah, fun fact, Phil isn't racist.
No, he's not.
That whole debacle was all dumb fucking press people not realizing when, or just taking things out of context completely.
Well, see, now that's something I haven't heard of before. Press taking stuff out of context? Now that's a new concept for me.
Yeah, no, it's true, Tommy. You didn't know that?
No, I actually thought that what they would do is they just report the news as it happens. I didn't think they put any commentary to it.
I thought so too, but it turns out that not only do some writers actually like just throw their own, interpretation of what happened in there, but also other places will just copy and paste a headline and come to their own interpretation of what the headline might actually mean and then write it.
No, that can't be true. That seems too lazy and unprofessional.
I know, it's astounding.
Wow, okay.
That's my picture from Painter, by the way, that showed off in this montage.
Really?
And they never asked.
Someone's getting sued.
Yeah. We have their contact information. You can sue them.
Yeah, now I have them on Skype, so they'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Good.
I think it's time to talk about how horrible they were to deal with.
Oh, yeah. Lisanne is just belligerent, racist.
It's awful. You know why there weren't any people of color at all in the movie? Lisanne Peugeot.
Lisanne, yes.
You Google that and you Google.
She has a tattoo on her arm that says "I am the final solution."
she's also a misogynist.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. That's why there are no women in the movie. It's her.
Yeah.
Lisanne Peugeot. Google it.
Yeah, Google it. She's the worst.
It's about this little kind of
She has a swastika on her forehead. It's a tattoo, but she puts makeup on it so you can't see it. They're awful people. They're also Canadian. They're also Canadian, and
I apologize.
I realize that we are in Canada right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just add that to the hate.
Yeah,
I'm saying. She's a polite racist.
Yeah, she is. Oh, sorry, but I don't like you because you're black, eh?
I just don't like black people, eh?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I lock the car doors because there's black gentlemen out there.
I don't like women, eh? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't like women. I don't like any of them, alright?
Well, why not rewind anytime?
Oh, I just got snacks delivered to me.
Poser.
See, my life.
Feeling inspired. Let me
Yeah. I'll take another one. Look at this.
They did have a way of like fading into nothingness. Like people always ask, how did you deal with cameras in your face this whole time? And it's like, I don't remember cameras ever in my face. Somehow they're just there. And the apartments were so small. Like our apartment was so tiny, yet, and they took up, there's 2 people there like filming us, but I don't remember ever feeling invasive.
The game mechanics.
They have a way of just like fading into the background.
Oh yeah, totally. Like there's the famous shot of my feet. I didn't know Lisanne was on the ground in my kitchen filming my feet.
Well, you can kind of see how much of a pervert she actually is too.
Yeah. That's the weird thing.
What was she doing while she was filming?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember, but it might have been because she roofied me.
Process of discovery. It's like if you're sitting on top of a gold mine, you don't even really.
Games industry is really sordid, just full of racists.
Oh, it's terrible.
You obviously haven't read the internet. We're just giving information that's already out there.
Part of the process.
People already have said all this stuff. They know.
Gold and like moving them.
They know how horrible and racist this movie is.
For sure.
Look at that guy. Come on. You think a white person really needs more FaceTime? Come on.
You know, what is this?
I'm gonna point out here that I'm Hispanic.
Hmm.
So
you got free reign there.
So I got free reign. I am also white, but you know, at this point in time, I'm gonna default back to the brown end.
McMillan is just a historic Spanish name.
Yeah. Yep. McMilbean.
The way this game has developed.
McMilbean?
Yeah, that was my
They changed it when you climbed over the fence.
Yeah. It's funny too. So here's a bit of information that nobody cares about. So my grandma came over from Mexico, but it's super fuzzy because they didn't talk about it. They came over during the Depression, and so they just said that they were Spanish, and they didn't say they were from Mexico. And there was such a stigma on being Mexican that even to this day in my family, like my mom will deny that we're Mexican, because my grandma was so like adamant about my mom staying out of the sun and saying she was American and everything else. So here's a bit of information I wasn't even aware of. I didn't realize that like during the Depression they were like deporting as many Mexicans as possible, and they were just trying their best to they had like 7 kids or something too. So my grandma was all about like, I'm an American. I remember her getting really mad at people too when they would shoot. They would ask her, where are you from? And she'd be like, I'm from America. What the hell's going on? And then I'd ask her. I remember asking her a few times if she was from Mexico, and she would say no. And I said, don't you speak Spanish? And she's like, no, I just speak a little Italian. It's similar. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I believed her for a really long time, but she would bust out. We would go to. We lived in Watsonville. No one knows what that is. It's like Little Mexico of the Santa Cruz area, and we lived there. And whenever we'd go to like a store or whatever, and there'd be a lady selling tamales in the parking lot, she would come up, and my grandma would just fucking bust out Spanish like nothing. And I'd always ask her. I would always ask her to teach me, and she wouldn't teach me because there was such a stigma on admitting that she knew Spanish. It's very weird. But that's my tale of hardship.
And look how you've persevered now.
Look how I've persevered. Now I'm white in a movie.
We did get along with my
That's the
grandma.
American dream, isn't it?
So whenever
Yeah.
there was a problem, I would just go stay with my grandma.
To become white and be in a movie.
But my grandma was always
There she is, there's my grandma.
extremely supportive.
You can actually see that she put a lot of white powder on her face to make herself look more pale. That was my grandpa too. They were
For her, I
awesome.
was the golden
They were
boy
seriously
that could do
awesome.
anything, and she made me really feel like
Look,
I
there
could
she
do
is.
anything.
Yeah.
It
She
like
was
when
such
you
a
said,
fucking cool lady. You have no idea. She was the
wasn't
strongest woman
just saying,
ever.
it was like an-
Like even in a physical way. Like she would.
like that was
I lived with her for quite a while, and when I was moving out, I was trying to move all my stuff out, and one of the things that I left was like this giant filing cabinet. And I remember coming back to pick up more stuff, and she had somehow moved the filing cabinet all the way out of the room outside. I'm like, how did you do that? And she's like, oh, I figured it out.
that whole thing, like,
But she's that kind of person that like
and I thought,
would just
how
do
cool
whatever needed to be done. Like she was hardcore. She was a very religious Catholic woman, but she was also really realistic. Like she was pro-choice, and I mean, she had no issue with gay people at all. But she was, I think she was one of the few people out there who realized that like religion is a very personal thing to each person, and it's very specific to each person. And she realized that what she believed was her thing and was none of anybody else's business, and she was very progressive with it. And she was just a very, if I wouldn't be here today where I am at all without my grandma. She was an amazing, amazing woman.
Did she help you move into the house or something?
This was after one of her first strokes too. All she did was move stuff out into the living room. When I told her don't, I would always get mad at her and say stop, like don't carry anything.
You know, we call that kimming.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of some of the stories you said of your mom, but she was like that. She was just like that. She lived for a very, very long time. Also a diabetic.
Yeah, she was type 2 diabetic, wasn't she?
She, to this day, she had to have been because she became diabetic later in life.
Yeah, so she wasn't like
They wouldn't be fixed, but I would be so.
she wasn't overweight or anything. She just got old person diabetes.
Yeah.
A lot of the imagery
Which is the same as fat diabetes.
that I did from-
It really is. It's the same thing.
Very happy with. To me, it speaks perfectly of how I felt when I was.
It just
little. When I played that
the
game,
age you get it determines if it's age or fat.
Very happy.
Fatabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after that, my
I don't think they write that
my
on
grandma
the
passed away,
diagnosis
and
when they
she
give it
had
to
a
you,
box
though.
of-
No, actually, I was at my endocrinologist today, and he's like, oh, okay, so you have genetic, you're genetically fucked. You don't have fat or old. And I'm like, no, yeah, I got genetic fuck up. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Space is my
Yeah, I just saw a guy that had fat. Yeah, I was bad.
Check it. The doctor checks it. It says fat,
Yeah, no, it was
old, or
validating
fucked.
to find that box.
Fat, old, or fucked, and I got a couple check marks under fucked.
This is great.
What's that picture?
If you look at that picture, the thing that looks like weird thing, like a tie or something on my neck, is actually my esophagus and my stomach. And then there's a little black dot in my stomach, which was an ulcer because I had ulcers when I was little, and that was my like drawing. It's an awful drawing to look at and think back to like when I was that age. I had ulcers. I was just a neurotic kid. I was always worried that everybody was gonna die around me, that the sun was going to kill us all, and it was a bunch of awful.
What is that about the sun? Because I went to therapy for that.
It was something when there was something on TV that told us that, because I
remember what it was. It was 3-2-1 Contact. And 3-2-1 Contact said that the sun was going to blow up at some point in the next like 3 billion years or something. And I was like, what if this is the 3rd billion year? Like, is it? And I got to the point where I would keep the shades in my bedroom. I keep them closed because I was afraid to look at the sun, because like in my mind I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look outside and there's gonna be a red giant fireball coming towards me and I'm gonna die and my family's gonna die. Oh yeah.
Who'd have thought? I guarantee that like there are so many people that were traumatized by the idea.
Fuck you, 3-2-1 Contact. You ruined my childhood.
Science.
Yeah.
Come back from school every now and then, and there would be these new levels added to the game based.
I wish I had my old click and play games.
In the days before.
I made a bunch of weird little games in like
At first they were just
middle school, high school, and click and play in this other weird program. The sad thing is almost all of my I was such the kid that would have been. Somebody would have called in and said, "This is the kid that's gonna shoot the school up," because all of my games involved infiltrating the school and killing everybody.
Cyber vision.
What the fuck?
I don't know if you can really blame them that much then.
Software.
Yes. Well, see, on that, see, when I was in high school, I had a kill list. The kill list, though, it was more of a joke because, like this one girl, like we were all friends, but I'd be like, that's a strike on the kill list, and I put a check next to her name. And then it became like a thing where people are like, I got 8 checks next to my name, and it's like, but yeah, you can't pull that shit off now. I would have been, they would have kicked me out immediately for that time. Times have changed.
This is actually Fez 2, by the way.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that game? Yeah. Yeah, Phil's lost his fucking mind. That's Fez 2.
Who got all the stars?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I did not.
Bullshit.
I didn't get him.
I tried to go in blind with Braid. I didn't know about the star stuff, so when playing it, I tried to get all the stars, and then there was that one fuck you star. There's 2 fuck you stars.
You wait for like an hour and a half?
Yeah, the one was the one where you waited for an hour and a half, and the other one was, well, you already put the puzzle together, so you don't get it. There was one stuck in one of the puzzle pieces, and if you had finished the puzzle before putting it together, you don't get the star. It's all because of that asshole.
See, he's so poor there, he can't afford a standing desk. He has to stack it up on pieces of paper.
Yep. People love to hate on John Blow, and I still don't understand. It might be because I know him in person and I know the type of person that he is, but people just love to...
Well, I think what it is people don't like to be wrong, and John will tell you when you're wrong.
That's true.
He's usually right when he says somebody is wrong, and people don't like that.
John is the guy I go to when I really want a real, honest opinion on what I'm working on.
Yeah.
He'll give it to me, and it might sting a little bit, but then I'll realize that, like, he's right, though, and I need this. Like, I don't need Yes Men. Like, I need John Blow to tell me, you know, that I suck in order to progress at all in the world.
You need people that, like, don't just... I mean, for lack of a better term, I'm sure there is a better term, but I'm saying lack of a better term. You need people that don't just suck everybody's dick. Like, you need people that are actually like, yeah, no, like, I respect you as a person, but this is wrong. You need that. Otherwise, you just get this weird feedback loop of just people saying, oh, this is great, yeah, this is good. And then you come out with these games, and then nobody likes them because they're terrible, because you and your buddies all think it's amazing.
We've been in
this little echo chamber.
We've been in situations where I've actually seen John Blow it, in quotes, where it'll be like an indie community thing where there's a bunch of people asking questions, and we call it let's call it the indie bitch list.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And we used to be on this thing that we're calling the indie bitch list. And we removed ourselves from it because it quite literally became that. It became a bunch of people, like, bitching about not getting a deal and no one being honest with these people. Like, usually the thing is you couldn't get a deal because your game wasn't actually that good. Like, it didn't have enough to offer. And you needed to work on the gameplay and not be upset that, you know, Microsoft turned down whatever or Steam turned down whatever. And the only person who would fucking keep it real was John. Mm-hmm. And I really hope that the people that he kept it real with understood the great advice he was actually giving, and that it wasn't like just being an asshole. He was just saying, like, work on your game more. Like, maybe it's because your game needs to be a bit better and it's just not there yet. And you definitely need that sometimes. You need that realistic, harsh feedback. That's actually something that I think Phil actually took too. Like, I played Fez in Fez's many iterations, and the games, the versions of Fez that I played early in development were nothing at all like the new game. And he took a lot of harsh feedback, and I think that a lot of that harsh feedback is what, in the end, made the game what it is now. Like, he was very realistic and very progressive about what he was doing with his game. Yeah. And that's one of the things, you have to be like that if you're if you're making a game. You have to be really critical of yourself and really open to criticism and feedback. At least the realistic stuff. People, you know, when people call you a fat fag, you can't take that to heart.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those things in the indie scene. It tends to be a lot of friends, like a lot of friends talking to friends, and that's what makes like people like John their opinions so much more valuable, is because you don't want to tell your friends that they suck. But sometimes your friends need to hear that they suck so they can get better from that point.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to say, and I totally understand that. I've recently put my foot in my mouth when talking to other developers, friends of mine.
I'm not going to say anything, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and one of the hardest things to shake when you're starting out with any kind of artistic expression is how hard it is to take feedback. And I realize it's hard, but it's like sometimes you just gotta realize you don't know it all. Like, you gotta be humble. Like, I don't know it all. I don't think John knows it all, but I feel like he, at the very least, knows a little more, and also maybe just has a totally different perspective. And that's an important thing to look at when you're making games or making art in general. It's good to get a different perspective than yours, because your perspective is not correct. Spoiler alert, you're not right. No one's right. Yeah. But it's good to get this wide variety of different ideas and perspectives on how your work is viewed, so you can have a better idea on how to improve yourself overall and get better. Like, it's all about striving to get better. It's not about perfection. It's about just getting better, whittling it down and learning as you go. And there's no way to do that without getting feedback. And I think one of the bigger mistakes a lot of new developers make is walling up the moment somebody criticizes their work. And it's hard to take criticism, but you got to do it. Like, it's just part of the deal. Like, it's part of how it goes. You don't need to take it all. You don't need to, like, do what everybody says, because guess what? You know, people aren't right. But you need to be able to take a step back and realize, what's the general consensus I'm getting from all this feedback? Like, you can blur your eyes and be like, well, this person said they didn't like the way the A button was, and this person said that they didn't like how the jump felt, and this person said that they didn't like the distance about it. So obviously what they're saying is that the controls need some work. Mm-hmm. I need to look at the controls. Like, that's kind of the way to approach that, I think, without getting your feelings hurt and people just, you know, not really liking it.
Hey, about that, I did the controls perfect the first time. That's how I do it, though.
So right away
you could just do like Tommy and do it perfect.
Yeah, I mean, just do it right the first time.
It was awesome how easy that was, and how that didn't take like 2 months.
No, it was so amazing how I was just like, yeah, whatever, done.
Put in some random numbers, it's done.
And then even
yeah,
than that, you'll get these saws that are
that's all I did.
Spinners. That
Tommy just gets lucky.
Mm-hmm. They go around in a circle. Now it's the same saw.
I know when I play Isaac, I'm like that too. Is like, you know, it's important to take constant feedback, even though I'm perfect at the game. It's nice to, you know, occasionally people are like, well, can you like be a little worse so that it's entertaining? And I'm like, I don't know, it just comes naturally.
It's like you can't be any worse. It's impossible.
I don't even know, like, I don't have a mental construct for what worse is. I just am.
Yeah, exactly. I just am. Perfect.
As sound effects can be heard.
I really like that subtitle too, actually.
There's no concept of what the sound effects sound like, though.
It's become a bit of a.
I wonder if in a deaf person's mind what the idea of different sounds sound like. Because what does that translate to? Fez sounds can be heard. Like, what in their mind they're like, they must all be screaming, I'm going to kill you and kill myself. That's how it usually sounds. I did like the glitchy stuff that he did in that game. That's pretty cool. Effective glitching. Not as glitchy as a Japanese game.
Yeah, yeah, not as glitchy and terrible as a Japanese game.
Oh, here we go again.
I wonder if people people in the chat realize exactly how that went down. The special edition of this, which we're not watching, has a bunch of extra footage, and it shows the whole the shit that went down at GDC when we're all part of a panel, and this Asian dude asked a question like, "Hey, you guys are really obviously inspired by all the old school Japanese games. Like, what do you think about Japanese games now?" And Phil responded, jokingly, obviously going over the top with it, that your games suck, you guys need to work on it. It had nothing to do with race or anything else like that, but the interesting part that everybody sidestepped in the press was right after he jokingly said, your games just suck, you guys need to step it up. We all had this really long conversation about what happened to Japanese games and what's going on with Japanese games, like what happened, what changed, and why have they kind of they held the fort, like they were like the innovators, they were doing so much, and now it's kind of like, what's going on now, like what is Nintendo doing, and what's going on, and why is this happening? And we talked about it. We actually talked about it for a while, and that was meaningful, and nobody cared about that though. They just wanted to say Phil Fish was racist.
Yeah, they wanted to get the clicks, and yeah, it's like you can take anything out of context, like anything, and that's exactly what they did. And yeah, that's why I hate the internet.
If that doesn't work out, well then.
I mean, you didn't know that?
I don't think how could you hate the internet? Everybody's nice.
Yeah,
it brings out the best in everyone.
It really does, doesn't it? Like, when I think of talking to people on the internet, I think of, wow, I'm going to get an honest and informed opinion from everybody here. And then I do.
When I get online and read the comments, I think, I'll kill myself. I know what I'll do. I'll kill myself. So we've gone over in the other commentary how you think Phil would have killed himself. I believe I said that Phil was going to shave his eyebrows off and choke to death on them.
Yeah, something like that.
How do you think he would kill himself, Tommy?
Let me see. Oh, let me finish chewing.
Tommy has been crunching. It's so perfect.
Let's see.
I guess a typical day.
If you were Phil Fish,
if I was Phil Fish and I had to kill myself,
4:30 in the afternoon because I've gone to bed at like
what I would do
10 or 11
is I would take off my glasses and I would point them at the sun and try to burn a hole through my head.
Yeah, that wouldn't take much. You just walk out with those.
Yeah, he has to take them off when he goes outside. Otherwise, they'll just destroy his eyeballs.
You know what I would do? I would go to an internet convention and I would say, "I'm Phil Fish," and then everybody would stone me to death.
Do they have internet conventions?
Yeah, they also have rocks there.
Why do they hold it at a quarry? It doesn't make any sense.
The next day, like, all the comments online would be like, good.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah, like there would be no thumbs down on like YouTube videos of babies laughing. Like everything would just be, it would be perfect.
This was a big one. This one was code complete.
Yeah, that's something we should talk about. Internet trolls.
Oh, I love internet trolls.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
We've of course everybody here, everybody in the chat, everybody has experience with internet trolls and bullies that like to try to lower you down because their life sucks so bad. I've had my fair share, for sure, for many, many years. Get some fucking chapstick, Tommy. Jesus Christ.
Don't tell me what to do.
The worst, I'm going to say, the worst thing that ever happened to me, the only time that ever got... I have a thick skin, as you can see. Look, I'm a large man. So stuff doesn't really get to me as much, but once it did, and this is my story. I had my gallbladder taken out, and I was in the hospital for a few days. And during that time, there was a lot of like horrible shit that went down. They found like some abnormalities on my liver they thought was cancer. They thought it might be cancer. There was a bunch of really awful stuff, and for the 2 days I was in there, I was at a really low. I was also very high on all the things they were pumping into me. And when I got home, I realized that Tommy and Danielle, as well as Derek and a bunch of other people, friends of mine, had done a Kickstarter. Not a Kickstarter, it was before Kickstarter. It was like
it was just a donation.
A donation thing. It was like donate to help me pay for this horrible debt that I acquired. Because it cost like 40 grand to get that. I didn't have insurance and I had no money. and we were trying to finish Meat Boy, and it was pretty amazing to get home and have so many people be so generous. And I was already like tearing up. I think I like deliriously called John because he donated a lot and was like crying on the phone with him and everything. And
Yeah, I remember.
and I made the mistake of going and checking Tig because Derek had posted he had posted the link and said, you know, help support admin or whatever. And I had made the mistake of reading the comments, and the comments were so horrible, so fucking horrible. Like people were saying that fat fag should have fucking died on the operating table. It was just so awful.
It was so ridiculously upsetting. It was ridiculous.
That was the moment the internet got me, where I was like, I can't believe this. Like I can't believe this. Like, and that's the thing. It was like, this is if I did die, this is what would have happened. A lot of people would have been like, well, glad he's fucking dead.
Yeah, good. They would have been.
Good. It's like, and that was the, and that's when I started hoarding guns and ammo. Can we not make these jokes right now? I don't know.
No, this is America. We got a school shooting every weekend or stuff.
I'm gonna have somebody knocking on my door pretty soon. I don't own a gun. Or maybe I do if you're coming to my house with one.
You're not gonna take my gun!
Something like the hardest part of success.
I own knives that shoot bullets. They shoot smaller knives.
Okay, so you know what a bayonetta is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I always thought that those were rifles that shot knives because they had the knife on the end of it.
Yeah, I think I thought that too when I was little.
Yeah, I figured. I thought it was awesome, but I thought the sound of a bayonetta was what a silencer sounds like. That kind of dart sound. Like, pew, pew, pew. That's what I thought. Yeah, rifle knife gun. How come this hasn't been made yet?
This house that I mean,
I think that would probably be outlawed in the Geneva Convention or something like that. Something like high-powered, sharp objects.
Yeah, you know, one of the things in they have tri-corner knives are like outlawed by Geneva Convention or something because it's you put it like if you were to stab somebody with it, it's just a knife that's a triangle and it's blade on each side kind of thing. Like the wound won't close. So maybe it just shoots those. What better way to win a war than if you shoot everybody and their wounds can't heal? It's silly. It's not an exploit.
Where are the lasers, man? I thought we would have laser guns by now.
Yeah, really.
Where'd that go?
Well, we have some lasers. They have lasers that can take down missiles and stuff like that, but nothing like...
If a laser can take down a missile, why aren't we shooting lasers at other people?
Well, what if you miss?
Where are the fucking lasers?
More than a love interest. And I wanted to play up.
I think the thing with shooting people with the lasers.
I'll tell the NRA if the NRA is listening. You get on the laser technology, and I'll buy a laser gun.
I'll buy a laser gun.
I'll shoot that shit. I want a laser gun.
Just for hunting, though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I want a laser gun a squirrel.
This has nothing to do with my kill list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might not be able to buy one now that you've publicly admitted to having a kill list.
Yeah. Well, I don't have it anymore. Isn't that an ominous thing to say? I don't have the list anymore.
Oh, this is a while ago. Oh, this is the proposal.
Mm-hmm.
This was, a lot of people ask this too, like, did you plan this and blah, 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 blah. How did they get a shot of her? How did they know where she was? This was completely random. The moment I got up on stage, it was like, I think I jokingly said to Alex, the guy sitting next to me, like that I might do this if we won, knowing that we wouldn't win. Then we did win, and I was like, yeah, all right. This is the only opportunity I'm ever gonna, I never leave the house. The only opportunity I'm around a bunch of people that I can do something really over the top. I might as well take the opportunity to do something meaningful with this, you know, otherwise unknown award at that point. And I thought, yeah, I'm going for it.
Hard to like adapt.
And the awkward thing was I couldn't really get to her. I had to like go off the stage and like pull her from the audience in order to finally get to her.
Leaving the house to
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome little moment.
I heard a lot of this. I only
Yeah, it was nice that got recorded.
I know we're
sure.
in the same room together, but I
She said no.
Shannon and I record stuff, but we can't put it. Well, we can put it in some sorts of movies, just not
Are you happy here?
It's not this one.
Is this worth it?
Upload it to
Because
RedTube.
I worry that
I do every day.
this is for you, and that this might be something that you regret.
Your username is Call Me Cancer.
You just made the kill list.
Call me Cancer, and in parentheses, white.
Since I have
Oh,
wanted one of
Tammy.
these since I was in elementary school.
Who'd have thought
There's
she'd
that
become
for
such a
it.
fat little
When the game's
bitch?
done, we moved to
Whoa!
a house if I
Whoa!
We named Tammy. Spoiler alert! There she is. We get her at the end of the movie. Whoa, she was little. We named her Tammy because she's bald like Tommy.
Yep.
There's another knock to Tommy.
This is the shit I'm talking about. Like, if something doesn't have hair, it looks like me for some reason.
This one belongs to Jennifer.
It was.
and Robert.
She's
They're
also
probably
diabetic,
happier than us. Right at this
but
moment.
she's got fat diabetes.
Yeah, she's got fat diabetes, not genetic. Hey, here's my happy life at the Waffle House.
It's time to go to the Waffle House and kill.
Do you know
myself.
what the tragedy of Waffle House was for me at this time? Because I'm a diabetic, I can't eat a fucking waffle. That's my life.
It wasn't like the one-seater thing. That you're just facing nothing.
No, I don't give a shit. I can be inside my head
What
and
did you eat? What did you eat there?
like eggs, bacon.
So you just smell the waffles and
Oh, yeah.
syrup.
Yeah, I would smell the waffles and syrup and.
That is a fun fact a lot of people don't realize. Whenever I'm around Tommy, especially when he was less healthy, he would always ask to smell what I was eating.
I like to smell the things. Oh, the best part though, this is something recent. So frozen yogurt's like a thing now. There's fucking frozen yogurt places everywhere. But when Shannon goes to the frozen yogurt place, I go with her, and they have the little bitty like cups, and I get samples of everything. Like little tiny samples of everything is perfect for the diabetes.
I don't see how your life is bad at all. You get to have samples of things all day.
Shannon gets like a giant tub of that stuff though.
There is something too. I always comment. So Tommy's never sick, and he's incredibly healthy, especially now. And I think is purely because he's like his diet is forced. He's forced to be on this diet.
Yeah.
So now he's like a superhuman. Really, the diabetes is not a bad thing at all for him. He doesn't even realize how good he has it.
Yeah. Here I am bitching that all food is poison, but I don't know how good I have it.
It's that bald privilege.
No comment.
But you can't.
Yeah.
All you've been doing for 4 years is look at.
There's probably some way to kick you off of this call. I don't know what it is, but I can Google it and I get back to you.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking for.
Balds only.
Phil should grow his eyebrows down into his chops. That would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
So PAC stands for penny
You should get it. Last time I saw a picture of Phil, he looked like a homeless lunatic. His hair is really long.
Yeah, I saw that picture too.
I go for that too. I mean, I remember when I recently shaved. I did the Gigi Allen, where I just had like little bits of hair at the ends of my mustache that were really long.
I was going to ask you if you're still sporting that.
No, I couldn't do it. It actually was just more annoying than anything, because I kept like touching it, and it was just like, oh, what the fuck's all this stuff? I did look like a crazy person, so I did achieve what I was going for, but nope. Right now, I'm just doing the boring, semi-presentable look. Just wait until we're on year 10 of Mugenics, and then I'll look like a complete lunatic.
I will have built a robot to program Mugenics for us at that time, and I'll be dead.
It's not done yet. We can't ship it yet.
It's a good achievement, though. Still, like
It's really
Yeah, like I made a sentient robot, but I'm dead.
You know, if Phil shaved his head, I think he'd sort of look like you, Tommy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, if he shaved his head, he looked like Northernlion. Or he looked like yeah, I don't understand that. Like those shoes have to be the most hipster bullshit fucking shoes I've ever seen in my
is that
life.
what you guys do in Canada?
Yeah, do you knit your own fucking
Your
shoes?
little booties for your little nubs.
I don't want to throw Phil Fish under the bus, but I've never seen those before in my life.
It's okay, you can throw them under the
And
bus.
if everything isn't settled,
Well, it's weird because like you guys can make fun of him because you have kind of a relationship, and I'm like, me too, you know? Hey, fuck you, Phil Fish, and he's like, who's this asshole?
last signature to close the deal,
Partner
so
one.
at the moment,
Partner one.
We made a lot of jokes about the pixelated man that was Phil's rival, but it all got cut from the commentary.
I don't remember what the jokes were.
I don't know either. It's hard to remember. I will retell a joke that I do remember us saying that I thought was great, and I'm gonna say it like it's factual.
Okay.
We said this got cut from the commentary. We said that at the IGF awards ceremony,
stage fright.
there is this thing called juice boxing. And what juice boxing is, and this is real, this is completely real. In the green room, they have an IV of heroin, and they have multiple like IVs coming out of this thing of heroin, and everybody that is in the green room, they get to sit back and inject heroin into their veins. And I've even seen Simon Carlos. He's so crazy with it that once somebody like pulls the vein out, he'll actually squeeze and drink the heroin blood from their veins.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. We've been back.
100% accurate, and I'm glad it's finally out there because that's really what happens behind the scenes at GDC in general.
The thing is, people need to know that this stuff is going on.
Yeah. Oh, it's Soulja Boy.
Oh shit.
This is the inspiration for everything I've done on the internet in my career.
I saw this shit in real time and it was amazing.
It was so awesome.
So many people on the, we'll call it the indie bitch list again.
Yeah. They were like, so upset.
They were so mad. They were like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm so sorry. And the whole time we're going like, oh my God, I'd kill for this.
Yeah. This is what I want. Yeah.
John wasn't upset by it at all. Like,
no.
He knew that it was, just press. Like, it was good press. And some famous rapper is talking about your game, and it looks good. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it actually showcased the more interesting surface level things about the game that got a few people to play it. So
yeah,
that was awesome. But yeah, no, I pray for the day. All we got was the PETA thing.
Yeah, to this day, Jonathan Blow plays golf with Soulja Boy every weekend.
The really serious birth of
It must be hard for him because we've gone on record as saying he's a total racist. So
yeah, no, he bites his lip the entire time.
Every time you mention
I hate him. He's different than me.
I'm doing this. He does it to get his ire up.
Yeah.
So he'd pop up and
I played The Witness. Spoiler alert, it's good.
And became
famous for it. You haven't played the new. We played it together the last time, right?
Yeah. I'm talking about the early beta. Both me and Tommy asked to stop playing it because we want to experience it for real when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's that good. It's a great game. And I'm sure there's a bunch of press people out there who are just waiting for the day that they can take him down a notch and say that it wasn't as good as everybody says it is.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll show him. I write on a blog.
I'm gonna fucking blog that guy to killing himself.
Yeah. This blog is making him die.
Why is he always in a dark? He's always in the dark. Is he because he's mysterious? Is that what they were going for?
Oh, I thought this was Tommy for a second.
No, that one doesn't have glasses. That white doesn't have glasses. That white ball.
And in many cases, it would be.
I remember this too. I remember John would jump into almost all the conversations about Braid because he really wanted to talk about it, and then he came off it came off bad, and it became like an obsession, and I completely understand that because. For me, after Me Boy came out, I did the same thing. I never commented on anything, but I definitely had this addiction to seeing what people were saying about what I'd been working on or what people were saying about me in general, which is a total sickness. It's bad. It's so bad to do.
I think we've both gotten to the point, though. I know, at least I have. I know for sure, where I don't look at anything anymore.
Oh, I don't know either. Dale brought it up the other day that it's been about a year since I looked I don't Google my name. The last time I searched my name on Twitter, I was so upset by what I read that I was like, never again. And it was it's such a betrayal. It was somebody a while back had wrote and said I was a misogynist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, she was a writer. So I said, well, how about we talk about it? How about you interview me and I'm able to defend myself? How about we do that? And she did this really good interview, and I got to address anything. It was like nothing was off limits. Anything she wanted to ask me, I answered honestly, and it went up, and it was a good article. And then a couple months later, when I googled my name, she was just talking shit and saying that like I was a misogynist, and that she was just too easy on me, and she should have asked harder questions. And I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I fucking can't. I was like, and it made me so upset. But it's that sort of stuff too that like. It's misinformation that seems believable that you're giving to other people is the stuff that bothers me the most. But at this point, if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. So
yeah,
I'm not,
that's the best part, like of the internet is yes, it's anonymous and everybody can attack you, but there's also like mute buttons and block buttons for almost every single thing, and you don't have to scroll down to the bottom to read the comments. Like at that point, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a huge relief, a huge relief. It's so stupid how the human brain works and how broken we all are, and in both respects too. The fact that people find the need to lower people down so they feel better about themselves, but then the fact that we also need to search ourselves out so we can feel relevant. Like, it's broken. We're so fucking broken. But yeah, no, life is much easier when I don't care.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I don't care. You know, I'm here putting my head down and doing what I do, and if you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. Like, spoiler alert, I wasn't meant to be everybody's friend.
I don't know if you realize how.
And I probably don't like you. So
yeah.
So we'll it's fine with me.
What's weird?
Oh, here's my part.
I really don't
Oh yeah,
care
the foot, the emu foot.
Okay, all you foot fetish people.
Ostrich foot.
Positive or negative.
Yeah, fucking yellow toe.
You know, we get 9s and
Gross
10s and
foot.
all that stuff. Doesn't matter.
Tommy's gonna go when he goes on his killing spree. He's gonna actually just use his toenail and just jag. Oh God! How
My God!
his toes get? Tommy's just gonna kick the throats open of everybody.
Rich, you can buy me a car.
Ugh.
Blah, blah, you know,
And everybody's gonna say, "Well, it was in the movie. We should have known."
Yeah, he showed us the weapon beforehand.
Why didn't the cops confiscate your gnarled ass fucking toe?
Because this is my right as an American.
Like Nicolas Cage in like a dark, smoky room, like film reels rolling behind him, watching this over and over, and then in like one of his methadone crazed sprees, he just looks at your foot and all of a sudden has that eureka moment.
Yeah.
I cried.
Look at me being a little sniveling little guy. I'm a little baby. Oh, I'm so sad that I just released a game.
It's like the equivalent of
my life is over.
This is the moment where people are like, they're like, oh yeah, I like Tommy. I like who. Oh no, wait, didn't he say Halo sucks?
Yeah. Hey, look, this guy has feelings, but he said my game sucked. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
I don't know why people think that there's this really bizarre idea that indie games are versus mainstream games, and that indie game developers don't. That was a horrible shot, by the way. They don't play like indie game designers don't play mainstream games. This is the dumbest fucking concept ever.
Yeah.
Of course we do. That's why we're making games.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, give me a break.
I'm looking forward to Smash Brothers. Looking forward to new Zelda.
Yes.
Whatever others that comes.
Yeah, Fallout, Smash.
Metroid Wasteland.
The idea that
Metal Gear.
even though they're good reviews,
I don't know what else. The things that definitely the games I'm looking forward to are the ones I simply don't know exist, or they'll be the diamonds in the rough that just appear out of nowhere and are awesome.
there's still a part of me that says
Oh yeah, it got weird sounding. Sounds like a robot.
Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you. You sound fine. Ed doesn't sound good.
Do I sound okay to you? Because Tommy sounds weird to me.
there's still a part of me that
We can try, like, I'll call you again.
even though
Okay.
All
I
right.
think I'm dead.
We're not okay. I think.
No, I can hear you Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but it's a little Okay, it looks like we're going live again.
All right.
Now we'll just see if Twitch holds it together.
You're ready for me to still this shit.
Guess I have to still it.
Gonna still it.
And it's loading. Hello, chat. Let me know when you see me. Or, you know, you won't see me, but you can imagine that I'm there with you. Chat's saying we're back, but I don't see us being back yet.
Danielle sewed through her thumb a few minutes ago.
Jesus.
Why would you do that?
Second time. She's into body mod.
Oh, cool. Why don't you put a magnet in your finger, weirdo?
You should see what she does to my dick.
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we made it back. Shall we restart the... Well, not restart the whole movie. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, we're restarting the whole...
Start it all over.
Oh, wait, I'm going to get mine to exactly where it is, where yours is on the stream.
Yeah. So you can look at the picture, and then...
I want to look at...
You can look at the picture, too.
I want to look at the picture.
You don't get that many opportunities to look at the back of your own head, so, you know, take them when you can get them.
Right where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's right. That's where I am.
My Netflix is being dumb. Hold on.
Don't look at the desktop. There's a joke there that only me and Tommy will get.
Yeah, no one can recognize that. No one.
Actually, one or two people can.
Yeah, not even they can. I'm telling you. There's no fucking way.
People are gonna get your Skype name from this, Tommy.
Yeah, they do.
Me too.
They get yours more than they get mine.
Yeah. I block it faster than anything.
I'm trying to get back to this point. Netflix is being a little
take forever.
I know, God.
I was telling you guys, but to be a total big shot, I'll tell the stream too that Kate's talking to like the ISP right now, and they DM'd her and they're like, "Yeah, Northernlion's the reason I buy so many games on Steam. So like, sorry about the outage." And like, whoa, that's like really surreal.
That's pretty awesome.
But that's not what you want to hear when you're having internet troubles in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Hey, let's dissect my my shelf.
Yeah, I'm almost at the point. Yeah,
sure.
There, it's out of focus, but there is a framed picture, a framed drawing. It has a black frame right underneath the little sign that says Super Meat Boy. That is a picture of me nude that Kyle Gabler drew. He's the creator of World of Goo. That was for my birthday.
Oh, cool.
Fun fact. There's some alien hominid figures. I stole those from Tom and Dan's booth at GDC when we were up against... Gish was up against alien hominid, but we beat their asses and I stole their toys. What else is up there? I see a Mochi Award with a little Steven figure that Danielle made. That award was for Time Fuck.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
So we're gonna do the 3, 2, 1 play again.
All right.
All right. 3,
2, 1, go.
Bam.
I did it.
Back again.
Oh no.
Super Meat Boy is releasing tomorrow.
The subtitles aren't working yet, so I'm gonna let's do a 3, 2, 1 pause.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1 pause.
Yep.
You can see all your emails there.
Yep.
Subtitles track. Open file.
There is no way that people are watching this and reading the subtitles and listening to us at the same time.
Yeah, I guess if it's the worst, you know, what's the worst that could happen? We can watch it without the subtitles on.
We should take the opportunity to point out the reason why we're doing this is because it's a 2-year anniversary of the movie, and the movie as well as all of the games are on sale right now for $9.99 on Steam. Cha-ching!
Go get it!
Yeah, there's a convenient picture link that was done by James from the Indie Game the Movie crew that you can click on in the bottom if you just scroll down from the video you're watching. Indie Game the Movie, all the DLC, Fez, Braid, and Super Meat Boy. Original retail price, $10,000. And you can get it for 1/1000th of that right now.
Yeah, the special edition is included, and I should point out that it's got a shitload of extra content. And if you like listening to me and Tommy banter back and forth about nothing. There's a whole feature-length commentary track for both the movie as well as the special edition.
Yeah.
The special edition one is heavily edited, just so you know.
Yeah. Very, very heavy.
They cut out the juice boxing part that we went over before. That was one of the hits.
I'm starting to sympathize with the editors a little bit.
Why, are you racist too?
Well, I can't tell you that. You can say that live on my stream, because even if you guys were racist, you make games and you can sell those. This is my livelihood. If I'm an asshole, that's the end of my existence on the internet.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So I don't actually know if the subtitles are working yet, but even if they aren't, it says they are in VLC. You can confirm. There it is right there. All right.
Let's count it down.
3, 2, 1, go.
Here we are. Checking.
There it is.
Checking something from Renault. No, wait. This is them.
No.
Why are you getting an email from Renault? What is this?
Yeah. Who's going to Boston? Why are you going to Boston?
What is this happening?
This morning
What
when I
is
got
this?
up, I got an email from.
Oh no! This is it.
Uh-oh.
Good
Because
moment to come
he's
back.
getting ready to publish his manifesto right before he goes on.
Yeah. He's the perfect gentleman.
So
Yeah.
he still hasn't signed.
Wow, if you take off the subtitles and turn down the sound, it really does look like this could be his final moments on Earth.
Yeah, totally.
If you had no
He's
context.
he's gonna go into the bathroom, and you're just gonna see him standing on a stool, and then the stool kicks out, and then his legs are dangling.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
There was some controversy over this aspect of the movie and the pixelated dude. But I feel like if you're not watching the movie and don't understand that, like, I can understand the other guy's side simply by looking at Phil. I'm sure that guy had to deal with some stuff.
Yeah, that guy had to deal with some shit for sure.
I'm sure there was. I mean, he comes off, I guess, as a villain to some people, but I don't. I mean, I see him as just another dude. I still don't know who he is, but I think I know one of the games he made.
Oh, I know who he is.
But yeah, I don't think he really comes off as a bad guy.
I think he comes off as a little bit crazy, but stressed. It seems.
That guy, seriously.
But it's creepy that he worked with a guy that was full on pixels.
Yeah, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't look at somebody when they have like a weird.
Giant magnifying glass, one of them just like over his head.
Yeah. It's like one of those things he just wears one of those things that you wear at the eye doctor so they can adjust what your vision is. He just wears one of those around now. He's super hipster.
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah. I was at PAX East.
Was it this stressful?
For everybody involved.
It was that first day.
Yeah, you had pretty much the same kind of experience, right? Where you're freaking out over making sure everything's running. Like we had Polygon came by for an interview, and the game was broken, and I'm like, oh shit, because like something weird happened. I don't know what, but I went back to the hotel room for 2 hours, like the first 2 hours of PAX, and I was just working on stuff, and then came back. It's kind of inevitable. Like, if you make games and there's some big event coming up, something's gonna get fucked with something. Like even
for sure.
Even like like E3 Isaac stuff, there was stuff that was so fucked, and I was just like, I'm not gonna even look. I'm not there. I'm not gonna be stressed out over something I can't fix.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Like, it's every single event that you try to get something done for. Even with Gish, back in the Gish days, there was stuff wrong. I remember even the release day bugs for Gish that like you couldn't beat the game for like the first week it was out. So awful. So awful.
Yeah.
Making games is hard, kids.
It's true. What's this guy upset about?
Deja vu.
Wow. Nice gold chain. Where do you live in Florida?
I know what I'm getting. I'm getting these for your birthday, Tommy.
What's that?
Giant thing of Carmex.
Yeah, I need it. You were doing reclusive cowboy. I was going sickly hobo.
You're doing desert dweller.
Yeah. Desert dweller.
Funny thing about this day is I was asleep during all this because we were on different. He was in North Carolina and I was in California, so the time zones were way different too. And I was still asleep, and I just wanted to kind of sleep through it. And when I woke up, my whole thing was I wasn't going to check anything, so I didn't know about any of the stuff that you were going through.
I'm fucking killing myself to get this game.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. It was stressful.
I can imagine. I mean, people always ask like, what was it like? Was it like it shows in the movie? And the thing is it was so much worse, but we can't talk about it.
Yeah, there's we could say one thing that would make everybody go. Let's put it this way. We could say one thing about something that happened that would instantly be on every single website and would cause a major uproar.
Yeah, and then we probably end up getting sued.
Yeah, and then we'd end up getting sued. But like, somebody even asked me that on the Tumblr thing. They're like, are you going to talk more about how Microsoft screwed you over? There's no point. Like, you know, we openly talked about what Microsoft did to us. And they haven't changed, and people still work with them. So there's no point in opening any old wounds or anything like that. And,
there's no way
you live and you learn. Like,
you do, yeah. There's a lot we could have done to prevent the things that happened to us, but there was a lot that they did to take advantage of our
we're naive.
being
Like,
naive.
we were new to this, and we learned a lot from our mistakes. Like, we learned a great deal from our mistakes. And a lot of it had to do with contracts, which we're even still learning to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
first day is very
the mistake that I think I made personally was when I started working with this faceless company. I was working with these individual people, and it was hard for me to even feel like these people could never fuck us over.
Yeah, but
like,
and that was the thing, they weren't.
And because it felt like so intimate, like, and we were so little and innocent and inexperienced. There's no way that something could happen. But the thing is, the moment that it does happen, it's not an individual person. It's just an entity that's deciding your fate.
Yeah, it's a spreadsheet.
You can't do and say anything about it, because if it's not in the contract, then they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Alert.
Go to market.
Yeah.
It works.
Right there. No, we have to say like a 5.
But oh well. Xbox seems to be really sort of trying. It seems like they're a little bit better. I mean, they're certainly attracting a lot of talent.
Yeah, a lot of people. I remember when we, in quotes, bitched about our treatment publicly, which was quite literally just us saying, hey, this is what happened, because we kept hearing very similar stories from other developers, but they never came out and spoke about it because they didn't want to ruin their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the kind of person that's like, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to be honest about how I was treated, because I want other people to understand how I was treated. And they didn't treat us like we were. They treated us like this is business, so I'll treat it like it's business too. And we were very vocal about our treatment, and I like to think that we changed things.
It's frightening.
Like,
yeah, I think just putting it out there that the stuff they were doing wasn't necessarily fair or good for developers. I think they did change a bunch of stuff. We actually had, this was something that happened at PAX East.
It's scary.
One of the guys that is, I'm pretty sure is one of the guys that fucked us. He came up to the booth and said he was a big fan and that he wanted us to do something on Xbox One.
Yeah.
But that's like the disconnect. I don't think he realized that he fucked us.
No, because it's business.
Yeah.
It's business, and business doesn't involve feelings. It doesn't involve
it's just numbers.
Yeah,
it's all numbers, and like it's numbers and predictions. Like they weren't like, oh yeah, we're gonna get these guys. That one guy's a Mexican. It wasn't like that. It was quite literally, well, this is what market trends show. This is what we think, and this is what's going to happen because we can do this.
I'm hoping that
we know better than you, and it's like
you live and you learn, and it's not like they were there seeing how much we were struggling to get things done in a manner. Like they don't know.
No, they have no idea.
They really don't. But yeah, you live and you learn. And looking back, I remember even within the year after releasing it, there was a certain point in time where I was like, this isn't worth it. This wasn't worth the time because it was such a traumatic experience. And there was actually some like post-traumatic stress, like when the anniversary would roll around when we were really crunching, I would have sleepless nights and feel really like panicked and everything else because and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And it was like I was reliving that time again of just sleep deprivation and feeling like shit and feeling betrayed and feeling awful. But you learn a lot, and like looking back now, it's like, well, even the really bad shit, we learned what not to do. How to really look at things when dealing with larger entities like this.
Yeah,
you can't really take it personally.
Like we won't get into a situation like that again.
But it was really strange to have people who literally were telling us, yeah, same stuff happened to us, and then we talk about it, and then they're like, well, you're an idiot, you just burned your bridge.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me?
It's like, how do you expect anything to change? Like, how do you expect anything remotely to change at all unless you speak up about what you would like to have changed? And the treatment of indies was something we'd like to have change, and even if they did or didn't do it internally, they sure talked about it and addressed it recently, and that was an issue, and that's a good thing. Like, it's good to be honest about stuff for the most part.
That's a bug. I think you're stuck now.
There's a bug.
There's a bug.
Game-breaking bug right away.
Right away.
Game-breaking bug. I think I talked about this in the commentary, but I was playtesting Fez, and when I beat the game, there was a bug that happened that made you float off the screen, and I thought it was a feature, and I thought that's how the game ended. And I thought, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's kind of like a weird ending. I expected some sort of weird ending, like you floating into nothingness forever. No, it was a bug. But it's a feature now.
Yeah, feature bug. Keys. Yeah, that's that phenomenon. If you go to people and you say keys over and over and over, they will everybody checks their pockets, no matter if they have the keys or not.
Everybody pats their pockets.
Yeah, everybody pats their pockets. You're like, keys, I need keys. We're such little stupid animals, I swear. We're so programmed and silly.
It's completely unstable.
Because it's unstable, just like.
Oh, that's when PAX was only 3 fucking days.
How many days is it now?
It's 4.
Hey, there's Lisanne. There's that racist.
Boo!
There she is, right there. Just so you know, it's the woman with the camera, the one who looks so innocent.
Yeah. Boo!
Boo! Man, if only I had our recorded sessions of. Give me more emotion.
Yeah.
Say.
Do it better this time, Tommy. Take off your shoes.
Well, like every time it crashes,
She hit me.
Like a personal failure, like a deep personal failure. I need to actually.
Where's the guy, the Florian guy, isn't he?
Like
Oh, I love that guy.
Sorry, I wasted your time. And start again. We made too many changes last night, and now we have an unstable
it's sometimes very stressful doing that. It's stressful doing this dumb shit, having to demo things for people and knowing things aren't exactly where you want them to be.
Yeah, that's not good. We never had. The only time we had a demo for Meat Boy that was what it was supposed to be was at PAX, and neither of us were there to experience it. It was, yeah, but like E3, there was a bug in the audio that would have it crash randomly, so we had to constantly reset the dev kit there, like at E3, and then IGF and all that crap.
Oh, someone pointed out to me recently, it's whenever it's showing this stuff, like tell me numbers, blah blah blah, that's all simulated after the fact.
Yeah.
and I think it says it's Danny that's talking to me, but it was James that was telling me all these things.
Oh.
James Id was the one telling me unit numbers. And he reminded me of that recently. He was like, you know, in the movie when it's saying it's like those were my messages. But since I couldn't remember, I was like, because Danny was telling us information too, so I was like, oh well, wasn't it Danny? But no, it was actually James. James Id, the guy who does all of our trailers and stuff. He was the one filling me in on information. You can probably actually see it there.
Actually, Ryan, you look like him. He's also bald with glasses.
Yeah, you all have the same.
I could have told you that.
I can't tell if it's James or yeah.
Bruce Willis or
yeah. Moby,
Kojak, Xerxes.
Xerxes. Does Tommy know?
I don't know. It's just surreal.
Tommy was wanting to quit video games and make robots at this point.
I wish Tommy was here. I wish Tommy was here.
Fucking boardwalk.
I like how when you talk about me like this, it's like I died. I wish Tommy was here.
Hey, the cones on the head thing, was that all Plants vs. Zombies stuff?
Yeah, I think
maybe.
so, yeah.
God.
Things are going.
We were friends with.
Oh yeah, it has a zombie on it.
Yeah, we were friends with the creator of Plants vs. Zombies. His name is George Fan, and he's awesome.
You don't need to brag about it. That's okay.
Yeah, no.
I like to. Name dropper, George Fan, Laura Shigihara, good friends of ours.
This is a really, really
hang out all the time.
Cliff Blazinski. We race cars together.
Create like a nice place, like a pleasant place to be in. I want people to feel a sense of like openness.
Can you hear the cat meowing in the background though?
Adventure.
There's a cat that's going crazy over here.
Oh.
Almost childlike way.
It's really hard not to just say, oh yeah, Phil Fish and a suicide murder joke.
Yeah, suicide murder joke. Kill everybody.
I feel like I've run that into the ground at this point, but it's just that's all it's playing in my head.
That's all his entire personality is to me. Is somebody who is just gonna snap and kill a bunch of people.
It's a seamless shot of the.
You know what he does? He goes and he gets his Starbucks and throws it on people.
That's why it's a nice place to spend time in.
I'm trying to.
I wanted to splash my orange juice in his face.
Games as a kid before the internet existed, and hearing these kind of urban legends like.
Florida.
And then you jump 2 times and warps you somewhere.
That guy's actually he is a reporter for Gay Gamer. His name is Scott. Yep. He just looks really weird in that. He doesn't look like that normally. It's something weird with the camera angle and like what he was doing. He looks strange.
So nice to see new Fez.
Yeah, this is basically Fez 4 at this point. We've
Is that you,
done
Tommy?
3 games.
Yeah.
But I think we
I gained a little weight.
That fucking art.
Like I thought it was me for a second.
Ken just introduced me to Tycho from Penny Arcade.
He does look like me in Moby.
I don't remember having that conversation with Phil Fish though. It's the weird part.
Yeah, that's so weird.
You know, we make a lot of jokes about Phil being short. He's not remotely short.
Yeah, no, he really isn't.
He's not remotely short, but somehow his giant head makes him appear like he might be little.
Yeah, he's got like a little bit of a Tyrion Lannister thing going for him.
I think I'm like an inch taller than him. But
yeah.
he says too, like, people have met me, they're like, oh, I didn't expect you to be that tall. Even Lisanne says, she's like, it's weird because I always think of you being a lot shorter, and then when I see you in person, you're way tall. And it's like, what? And I guess it's just that I'm fat, so it looks like I'm just squished down or something.
Yeah, people.
I'm 6'1", people, come on!
Yeah, people think I'm taller than you.
It's not true!
Not
I also
true.
think your dick's bigger than mine. I've seen pictures.
Well, that's my stunt dick. I wear it on my knee.
Yeah, I've seen it. We've all seen it.
I mean, I can point you to the site if you want to see it some more.
Put the link down in the chat. Please.
Yeah, here it is.
I remember that warp zone.
Hey, my cameo's coming up. You search for stuff about Super Meat Boy, and my username appears on screen for 0.01 seconds.
How much you get paid for that?
You don't want to know, because it's more than you guys got.
Alright,
the reviews
fuck.
and stuff that
I've got a good agent.
is really neat.
Did you get like 70% of all the sales of the movie, right?
Yeah, I drove a pretty hard
It's
bargain.
just so genuine.
Nice.
Heartfelt.
Well, I brought 70% of the audience in, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Enjoy it, and that makes me feel so good.
Where are you?
Guys, have you seen that movie where Northernlion's name is in there for 3 seconds?
It's seriously not even 3 seconds. It is, you blink and you miss it.
I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to
It's when you do a montage of like YouTube searching for Super Meat Boy and you.
Oh, it's when Tommy's happy for a second in the movie.
Yeah, it's when I'm not losing my mind.
That's Tommy's Skype name. Get it.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I'm Tommy.
Skype him
How you
quick.
feeling? Are you alright? Yeah, man. Tommy.
Uh-huh.
Okay, email from John.
Who drew the Meat Boy and Band-Aid Girl thing on the?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're closing in at 15 very soon.
I still have that whiteboard with that on it.
You know there are people who actually thought that Tommy was fucking shooting up heroin?
Yeah, they're so fucking stupid.
Oh my god, you gotta be really fucking dumb. Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of, wasn't there, okay, there was a weird experience and it was over with you, so maybe you should tell it. Remember the guy who you thought was gonna start shooting in the theater? When they was gonna ask him?
Oh yeah, the guy that slowly approached?
Yeah, tell that.
Oh man, we were doing, it was in, God, I don't remember where it was. I think it was in Raleigh. But,
I am happy. I'm also very.
we were in the theater and it was doing the Q&A, and this guy stands up and like slowly walks towards us while answering, like asking his question, and it was really, really weird. And I'm like, you're not gonna start shooting everybody, are you?
Didn't he get up and he's just like,
He stood with us.
I was told I could address the audience or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he's the guy. Yeah, I don't want to say what game he's making, but it was very weird.
He made it. He was working on a game then that seemed to be really weird in itself, like really odd. Like the person making this is kind of wacky.
Yeah, it seemed like a joke.
And then he said he got up and he was like, "They said I could address the audience."
Yeah.
And then he just starts walking towards you.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Wait, is your cameo coming
Oh,
up?
it already you missed it.
We missed it.
God damn it!
It was a great story though.
It's all over. See this guy? I think his name's Charles. He talks to my mom on Facebook. They're like good friends, and she'll call me up and be like, "Did you see what Charles did?" And I'm like, "What?" And, oh, Charles, he's so
I would
funny.
like to always remember
She
that
like
I'm
has a love affair with this little
I think
this
it's
little
awesome
redhead boy.
that I can
That's who
look at
she's
video
dating now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
still see
She calls him
even
her
though
ginger lover.
I spent all that time just looking at it as just a buggy
I
piece
still
of
Said he-
love
software that I had to
the idea that
know,
people think you're just like casually shooting
still
up
awesome
heroin.
that I would
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see-
yeah.
video that I hit the
Oh, hey, yeah, the camera's rolling. Cool. Let's go ahead and why would I inject heroin into the side?
That's where your vein is. Your most.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Seriously?
And they just never touch on it elsewhere in the film. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, by the
no,
way,
it's
Tommy's addicted to
about
heroin.
My intense heroin addiction in the film. They just glazed over that. They didn't want an R rating.
It's weird because, like Lisanne said, it happened multiple times when people were like, "Is Tommy shooting up heroin?"
Drugs? Like,
That's why he's so thin. He's just
yeah,
jonesing
he's
the whole time.
just heroin all the time.
That's where the money went.
Oh, that's where all the money's gone. Heroin.
This is Danielle's favorite part.
Video reviews, man.
She should come in for this. Should I go get her
Yeah, go get her
so she could talk about herself?
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Danielle!
What?
Danielle! Danielle!
Get it.
I don't know where the hell she is.
She's probably somewhere talking about herself in the mirror.
She's busy sewing through her thumb.
Yeah.
That's what she just did.
Well, I think I may.
Sewing up a storm.
It's just so crazy.
I like that little the part in the blinds where you know you have a cat when you're missing those parts of the blinds.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Carve out my little niche here so I can constantly walk through it. I do miss that apartment for sure.
Starting to feel worse.
There's a lot of good memories in that apartment.
I remember a time that I put
Starting to feel
uh,
worth it.
boxes on my feet. There were Coke Zero boxes. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
I danced around the room.
Yeah, I don't know what we were doing. The thing the chat should know, we don't drink or smoke either. But yeah, we put on some Coke Zero shoes.
You do shoot heroin though.
Oh yeah, well heroin's not a drug. It's a lifestyle.
Medicine.
Yeah, it's my medicine. I eat it.
I think a lot of people also don't realize that how we came together and started Meat Boy was in like response to a bad event that happened that like pushed us out of an office environment, and we both had to like live with each other for a month at my house in that little apartment, and that's when we were really starting real development on Meat Boy. And that's how it all kind of went down. It was like we got to do something.
Yeah.
Let's do Meat Boy.
Yeah, that was when we pulled the old switcheroo.
Switcheroony. For a game that they didn't really want.
And they have the little like retweet and like thing. It said we had like 200 something retweets.
20 million likes.
And 11,000.
And 2,000 thumbs up my butthole.
Oh my God, and that really kind of.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, it was well crafted.
It was a butthole joke. It was I'll make another one.
2,000 thumbs up your butthole.
Why do I care so much about this? How many likes I get on that stupid website? Why do I let these people at all?
Where I like to go. Straight to the b-hole.
Yeah. I gotta get up there.
I want everybody to be talking about the game.
Sure, it kind of looks like a butthole.
Yeah.
It's all a butthole.
It can get to you.
It's a big old butthole.
That guy sees it.
They tell you what you want to hear, basically.
Look at him. He's there. I swear. So that guy that was in the background with the red beard, I swear he's at every PAX.
Did you see him?
Well, I see like 9 million people that look exactly like him.
It's hard. It's again. I'm gonna go back to it's hard to do commentary over the Phil stuff without just constantly murder suicide pack.
Yeah.
I'm still worried that I might end up making.
He's looking at his to kill list.
Yeah, he's like, I have 50 million likes on my kill list.
I think the manifesto is ready to be published.
Yeah, I can do this. Let's put out my manifesto.
He goes around choking people to death with his scarf.
Yeah.
He's wearing the same scarf in the picture as well as the one he's wearing.
Oh shit! Maybe it's like that story where if he takes the scarf off, his head falls off.
Oh, I can see that.
Oh shit!
What's the scarf thing? Is that a Canadian thing?
Why?
You guys
You see one Canadian doing something, and then all of a sudden, is it a Canadian thing? We wear scarves sometimes. It's cold.
I breathe easier.
What is
So
this?
it is a
What do you
Canadian
think,
thing?
wearing a scarf? How about wearing like a shirt that's thicker?
Well, normally you would wear like a scarf and a jacket simultaneously. If you're just wearing a scarf and like a t-shirt, then it must be like a style thing. I don't know.
You made it seem like it wasn't a Canadian thing, but I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen anybody wearing a scarf here.
Well,
Yeah,
you live in California.
So? It gets cold here.
I think when you get your Canadian citizenship Tim Hortons card, that you get a scarf, then you have to wear it.
It is. I can confirm that. Yeah. Oh, if you were asking about the Tim Hortons citizenship scarf, yeah, you have to wear it. That's how we get through the border.
We have those.
Yeah. We don't have passports. You just like scan the scarf at the border and then.
Yeah. They don't even scan it. They're like, yeah, you're in. You're in. Where's your scarf, buddy?
Very slow.
I need to see. I need to see your passport.
A lot of people understood. I think.
Sorry, pal.
I don't hear you saying that, Ryan. Do you say sorry?
I like.
Say sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, you sound like an American.
Well, you know why? Because I deliberately Americanized, my accent. Because I get this treatment every time I say sorry.
You're doing a voice the whole time?
Yeah, this isn't even my real voice.
What?
You need to still kind of be afraid of failure.
Really, I talk more like this.
So,
It's my real voice.
what's that all about?
Oh, hey. Oh, jeez.
That's like William H. Macy in Fargo. How is that Canadian?
Close. That was my favorite part where the guy's digging.
He's trying to find Jason Rohrer's game.
The game
good.
came out. It was
I was like,
highly praised
Should I like at any point? I never looked in the mirror. I don't think, and thought, should probably maintain this in some way. I'm on camera.
Yeah.
I am filmed.
Metacritic score.
My entire lifestyle, I should have been saying, "Hey, I'm going to be on camera. I should probably, you know, cut my fucking hair."
It's funny because I think we were so sucked into what we were doing that we didn't even acknowledge the fact that we looked like trolls.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just out of it. Just totally out of it.
Like, fuck it. I'm so delirious here too.
I was like super depressed during this little part. In my own time.
Tommy time. In Tommy time, you're always depressed.
Yeah, I live in depression.
All you do in Tommy time is be depressed and hate Halo.
Yeah, that's all I do. I sit there and I'm like just looking at nothing. And every once in a while I go, fuck Halo. God. Call of Duty shit! It's like Tourette's. And yeah, and then I go to bed and wake up, same thing. It's hell.
I do remember drawing. I would draw Toad. There was a certain pose that I would always draw him in with one foot up. It was in 2nd grade. I would always draw Toad in his walking, running pose. I was like obsessed with. I don't know why. Mario 2 is such like a big game for me for some reason. Playing with all the different characters and stuff, and all the enemies were so awesome. It's my awkward moment.
Yeah.
There's when we.
I did something good and I'm gonna cry.
I'm such a crybaby.
Look at you. Grow some balls.
In the theater, the few times, or the one time I saw it in the theater when it was over here, I had to leave. During that time, and also during the part where I'm talking about Bandage Girl and trying to be like, I thought I was being really cryptic about it, and then they like totally put it together with Danielle, and I was like, ooh. That one kills me. That one makes me feel like I'm naked in front of the world and I have to get out of there. We sold 100 copies.
Yeah, they messed it up. That was supposed to be a decimal.
Well, how many of those were for 0.01 cent in the Humble Bundle, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
1 million of them.
Yeah, Tommy bought his parents everything in the world, and I...
You got your mom lunch.
I hung up with my sister. Look at that little thing. And also, there's the cat. If only Danielle was here to hear it.
Yeah, she's too busy.
The trophies that we were holding were the trophies that did Danielle get them or did my mom get them? I can't remember which one what they were from. I think
no. Those were actually from a site.
Oh, those
were from Games Radar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because we did have trophies at one point that were fake trophies because we didn't really win anything.
We won no fucking trophies.
My mom gave us these trophies, and Danielle also made trophies that were...
look at that. 2012 Witness.
Let's see what happens.
Yep, and that's the movie.
That's the end.
That's the end of this movie.
Oh, there's like 11 minutes of credits?
You know, the weird thing is about this movie is there's like a 20-minute gap where nothing is happening for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's just this like taking a break stream, a graphic, silence.
That was the weird. I was like, what direction?
I didn't understand what they were going for with that, but I mean, they did win at Sundance, so.
It's just be sitting in the theater, and then for 20 minutes, it's just like a screen, a pixelated screen.
Yeah, Tommy's face.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even remember. Apparently, I have a stream on Twitch that has a bunch of followers, but I don't know.
Things that are
they put like another ad in the video here.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before.
During the credits and the commentary, they got cut because all we were doing was pointing out people that didn't donate.
Yeah, that didn't donate. Yeah, because they have the whole list, and we're like, ah, there it is. There he is. He didn't do anything.
There's Cannonball.
There's a weird, like, you know, mirroring of this stream with when I watched the movie for the first time, because they were streaming it by satellite and it cut out for like seriously 15 minutes as well. So
it's just the Canadian way to do it.
Yeah, they didn't have enough gravy on their French fries.
Hey, there's me.
Should we take any questions from the chat about the movie now that some people have seen it and have burning questions before we cut this off?
Yeah, for sure.
So I go get some Chipotle.
Nice.
Play some Vintage Masters.
Well, it is Friday. Friday Night Magic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have to fill like 30 seconds because it takes 30 seconds for our information to get to Twitch and then to the chat, and then they have to write it back to us. So
what kind of technology is this?
I thought we lived in the future, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I thought when YouTube bought them, it was going to get better.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is so stupid.
They ruined it.
Those are the best comics.
Yeah, they are. Douglas S. Butts.
All right, somebody in chat had a question. What was your favorite part of the movie?
I like the full frontal nudity.
I enjoyed the murder-suicide.
Yeah. I don't know, I like the end.
I like when Phil does that weird face where he goes,
oh yeah, oh.
Yeah, I like that part.
It's so sad that that's become like the Google image search for it, because I do that face all the time when I'm making fun of people. You become that what you hate.
Yeah.
I guess Phil wasn't watching. He never came on Skype and popped in.
Or maybe he's getting a cease and desist written up for my channel.
Yeah, he is. Murder him.
Phil's not a bad guy. He definitely has people have people have their own opinions about it at this point, about the things that they heard that might have been said.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody actually has a clear opinion of Phil. They have a clear opinion of Phil as presented by various websites.
I also can't wait for the out of context things that we said that will eventually be somehow newsworthy in the next couple days.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Tommy Reffinus comes out as white.
Yeah.
White male.
I identify as privileged.
There's somebody in chat who says he saw Edmund and Danielle at Costco, and he shouted Danielle's name a couple of times, and he wants to apologize if he scared you.
We didn't hear that, but thanks for apologizing. It will never. No one will ever beat the most awkward situation was when, and this was actually like around right when the movie came out. This guy in the mall came up to me in the food court and was shaking, like he was frightened, and he just said, "Are you Mr. McMillan?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I wanted to tell him to like just calm down, like he was making me nervous, and he was like trying to shake my hand, and he was like shaking all crazy, and I was like, "God, that guy obviously doesn't know who I really am."
You would be surprised how often that happens at PAX. Like I've had kids like 14-year-olds that come up and are shaking, and I like put my hand on their shoulder. I'm like, calm down, dude. Like it's all right. Yeah, they're like dropping shit. They're like, could you just sign? And they're like dropping it, and I feel terrible for them.
Keep dropping condoms in their pants.
Whoa!
Oops! Oh, sorry. I'm just a little...
Sorry. So sorry, buddy.
Oops.
I hope that, anybody listening to the stream doesn't take my laughter as like an acceptance of that joke. It's like Canadian politeness is like, don't say that.
What? I don't even know what we said.
I don't know. But probably like the dropping condoms in the kids' pants. Like some people, they might consider that inappropriate.
Tommy's a child rapist. I mean, it's just a thing.
Don't tread on me.
All right, well, now that I know it's a fact, it's okay. I was just looking for some sourcing.
Like, write your local whatever and tell them that, they should crack down on Tommy's child rape.
If you become notorious for that, then one of us needs to grow hair, because that's going to be a problem for me.
Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to leave the house.
Yeah.
Where's that rapist?
Tommy is a horrible person. It's too bad all he does is stream My Binding of Isaac all the time.
It's
Tommy
too bad that's
Reference.
all I do.
And make
all the time. at this
groundbreaking
length.
electronic music albums and starring
Yeah.
Die Hard and
Yeah. I have quite the life, apparently.
yeah, so that was one question. And
Stay away from Tommy, kids.
Yeah, don't come near me. But for lots of reasons. I just don't want you around me.
Actually, he does like it when you come near him.
Gross. Jesus.
Yeah, you're the fucking pervert.
It's terrible.
I'm not even bald. I'm over here in my fat category. I'm gonna sit right here in my.
Yeah, well, because you can't do anything else.
Go! God damn it!
There's Edmund sitting around.
well,
I just got an achievement. Achievement unlocked for finishing this movie.
you got it
Oh,
on
you did?
Steam.
Yeah.
How many
Nice.
people have that? That would be really depressing to look at if you were the filmmakers. It's like
Like
70% of people have this.
Well, that's the reality of releasing any game on Steam. You'd be surprised how many people, like, what percentage of people buy your game in a sale that never even activated.
Yeah.
Well, that was really actually awesome. I'm very happy to have been a part of that, and thanks for including me.
I hope we didn't ruin your stream.
Oh, no. The good news about this is that there's no archive, so all the evidence will be purged.
So this is all off the record. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good. So all that stuff
This is
about
us.
rape, that just goes away.
Most of the stuff.
I said grape! With
I'm a
G.
child grapist. I help kids understand and appreciate grape.
It was a G. It was a G. God.
This is terrible.
Well, I'm not the one.
That's on you, buddy.
We should take a second to, again, pimp out the fact that there's an Indie Game the Movie bundle on Steam. 75% off for Indie Game the Movie and DLC. Fez, Super Meat Boy, and Braid. I think they're also $250 individually. So if there's a
I think
single
they're
piece
all
of
like
the puzzle.
75% off individually. I think
Yeah.
ours is like $350 and
It's
Braid
cheap.
is. Yeah, it's cheap.
Cheap.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
even if you own some of the parts, you can put together the whole puzzle. It's interesting too, having like some extra perspective, which you probably got none of if this is your first time watching Indie Game the Movie. Like you probably have no extra narrative to like, oh, I'm playing Fez and he went through this hard time, blah blah blah. But you will after you buy the movie on Steam and watch it in your own time.
I actually think our version of the movie was the Cliff Notes internet version. Like all we did was rehash what the internet views as all these things that were happening, and then that's all we do. We gave you the internet Cliff Notes of Indie Game the Movie.
Oh, Chad just let me know that I said 70% of people who own the movie have the achievement. Actually, 19.4% of people who own the movie have the whole achievement.
Wow.
But they do have to watch all the way through the credits.
Oh, that's probably a big...
There it is.
Wow, 20% of people watching through the credits is actually like really good.
Yeah, that's a decent stat right
It
there.
went from sadness to achievement.
Plus, they have 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, so
yeah,
fuck on that.
Yeah. Eat it.
Cool. I don't know if you guys want to take a second and shout out your social media, or if you don't want to do that.
I have a Twitter. Is that good?
That is, I think I have a command that will give people at least twitter.com/supermeatboy, but you can also, list your personal account.
Yeah, I love to get followers. That's how you make it big in the world. You gotta cash those followers in.
That's how you start a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to message me and tell me that you didn't like the jokes I made. I'm Tommy Reffinus on Twitter.
Yeah.
Northernlion, they call me.
Yeah. My name's Northernlion.
I already had one guy that was like, NL's gonna get so fucked for streaming this movie. It's like lawyers are gonna be knocking on my door. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cool. The end then. Thanks again. Like I want to say thanks for joining me, but really thanks for letting me join you and host this. This was really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, this was
good
good times.
Good time, good fun.
Yes.
making light of the horrible things and exalting the positives of everybody's great, everything's awesome, and if you want even darker commentary, check out the special features because it gets pretty dark.
It's dark in there.
All right, well, thanks to all you out there for watching it as well, and we'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.